This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need, have coverage options to protect the things you value most, file a claim right on the State Farm mobile app, and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The spirit of innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. The Department of Defense is working with Google to help secure America's digital defense systems, from establishing cloud-based zero-trust solutions to deploying the latest AI technology. This is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at g.co/American innovation.
You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Live from the DraftKings Sport and Social, this is the 2025 NFL Draft watch along of the NFL Draft that's in Green Bay, Wisconsin at Lambeau Field. This place is packed. I'm shocked to see all of these people here. It was a slow build today.
Whoa.
We are here live at Nashville.
They're engaged. They're ready to go, Billy Gill.
I didn't think they were going to be able to hear me, so I thought I could talk a little crap about them, but instead we're going to be very friendly, the Titans, today.
Go Titans.
We're joined by Andrew Hawkins. Mikey A is here. We're going to be taking you through 2 hours in this first round of the NFL Draft, live again here at the DraftKings Sport and Social at Nashville, Tennessee. We were driving around the city today, and the energy was palpable. It was electric. Everywhere we looked, people were saying, "We want Cam Ward. We want Cam Ward." They were screaming Cam on every street corner that we saw. This place is on fire right now.
Well, there was that one guy screaming, "We still want Will Levis." And frankly...
Yeah, frankly,
wrong.
We don't care what Will Levis
he's
thinks.
wrong, yeah. So
and why was Will Levis sitting downtown was what we were wondering when we encountered him. So that makes a lot of sense.
One of the saddest things that I've seen in Nashville, which is an incredible city, it's my first time in the city. Everyone's been incredibly welcoming. One of the first things I saw when we came into Nashville was driving past the stadium. We saw a Will Levis banner that was probably 80 feet tall.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I said, you know what? This is not going to exist tomorrow because we don't know for sure, but it appears as though Will Levis will no longer be your starting quarterback.
That'll be the question. Will the big mural of Will Levis still be there tomorrow?
What do you do with a mural that size? Like, if you're Will Levis, do you ask for that?
I do.
Yeah.
For sure I ask for it.
You put that in storage somewhere?
I don't know where. You put it somewhere. Like when I eventually become a tech CEO and have a space big enough to actually hang a banner like that. But you ask for it.
Yeah.
Most NFL players don't.
Drape your house in it?
I would be excited that I would have had a mural at some point. Most guys that were like the guy and then it comes down don't feel that way. Mm-hmm. They usually hold a grudge against the team for forever that you hear about 30 years later on podcasts. But for me, I'm asking for it.
Yeah,
I need a keepsake.
Will Levis doesn't think he's not going to be the guy after tonight. He just thinks he'll be the guy somewhere else, I assume.
He will.
They won't.
You don't think so?
No. Yeah. Whoa.
The
There's nothing wrong with Canada. Hold on a second.
Wait a second.
First off, scouting prowess. Number two, let's not disrespect the CFL, okay? There's a lot of damn good football that's played north of the border on all 3 downs.
Well,
you have 12 guys fighting their ass off, trying to make it 110 yards for a touchdown.
Can Will Levis make it in Canada?
Yeah, he could.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
he has.
There's definitely football being played north of the border. I don't know about damn good, but there's football being played, and that cannot be disputed.
Shout out to my Canadian fans.
We have a very exciting night in person, both the people while following along on YouTube. We have Cam Ward jerseys that we're going to be giving out. We're going to be giving out Cam Ward Tennessee Titans jerseys before you can even get them.
Hot off the presses.
We're going to be giving this one out here. We're going to be giving one out online. And here's the fun thing about this Cam Ward jersey is that this is probably going to be one of 3 Cam Ward #1 jerseys that exist because he's going to have the one that he holds up tonight, and then he's never going to be #1 because #1 is retired because Warren Moon run it. So this is definitely not going to be his number.
Yeah.
But you can get this jersey.
It would also be even more limited edition if he doesn't go #1.
That would make me, like, honestly, that's kind of what I'm rooting for, and it has nothing to do with Cam Ward going to the Tennessee Titans. I just want the chaos of us having Cam Ward #1 overall jerseys to give out, and he doesn't go there.
So there are a few things that I have been rooting for this draft coming into today. Again, DraftKings Sport and Social, presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. Coming into the draft today, there are some things that I was rooting for. The #1 thing that I was rooting for, and again, I love Nashville, Tennessee, and this wouldn't have changed anything, but I was rooting that the Titans traded the #1 pick so that us being here in Nashville when the draft was in Green Bay, Wisconsin, because we thought the Titans would have the #1 pick. If they traded that #1 pick and didn't have it, it would have made even less sense. So I was kind of hoping that would happen. Now, second best thing that could happen is that they don't take Cam Ward and we're giving away these jerseys that make absolutely no sense.
Collector's items,
yes. Very, very rare jerseys that nobody else on planet Earth would have.
Yeah.
Which makes it that much more special.
Who's going to win it? Anybody out there going to win it?
We got some takers.
Some takers, okay.
Is it not weird that Lil Wayne is a Green Bay Packers fan? That's not weird to anybody else?
You have to be hurt if you're, like, from New Orleans and you're a Saints fan, right? You have to be a little bit hurt.
I know, but
like how much he claims it.
Rappers specifically are so, like, location-based territorial. Like, it's what they're known for is where they're from. So for him to rep the Green Bay Packers, it's a very weird thing for me. I've never accepted it.
How many times did you interact with Roger Goodell, if ever?
I've interacted with him twice. I don't. He is very good at, I believe, acting like he knows who you are.
Okay.
And
I know people like that.
That's a rare skill. Because you're always looking for that moment for it to be like, ha, I knew you didn't know who the hell I was. And I never got it with him. So I never quite got confirmation that he didn't know me. But in my heart of hearts, I feel like you have no idea who the hell I am, Roger.
Well, I definitely didn't say your name, but you're also too old to be called like champ or sport. So what is his go-to?
There he is.
There he is.
There he
and
is.
it was like, damn it,
guy.
That's the one I hope you didn't say. You know? And he went with it.
See, I'm at a disadvantage with that because everybody always gets away with going, hey, what's going on, big fella? What's going on, big guy? And I'm like, you don't know who I am.
That transcends age, too. That works.
There's nothing I can do about it.
That works in every stage of life, so you just got to... I would appreciate if people act like they know me and don't know me. I also wouldn't mind if they don't know me. I prefer it because then I can be like, oh, thank God, I don't remember you either.
So, Hawk, we have a number of things that I prepared today because I wasn't sure what your anticipations and expectations were for the draft and what you wanted to do. We spoke about our prep for the draft for about 3 minutes this week. And it was basically, what did they tell you? And like, well, I got an email saying, can you be here?
Can I make it to Nashville?
So,
sign me up.
We came in with a number of games that we wanted to play throughout the night that we don't have to do every pick. We could do it whenever we need it.
Sure.
Mikey has anonymous sources in which he's going to read us anonymous sources on different things, and we need to guess who it is in the draft that they're talking about.
I like that one.
I have a series courtesy of the USA Today, which did something that I had never even considered, but I thought was great. So everybody does their mock drafts. Mel Kiper does his mock drafts. Todd McShay. Everybody has their mock drafts out there. USA Today had this great idea of collecting AI mock drafts. So they have 4 different AI mock drafts. So we're going to, for the first time, have 4 different AI mock drafts that we're going to be comparing the actual draft to see which AI was closest to the actual draft. We have Mikey's grades after certain picks. He'll be giving us his grades and tell us how that affects the team, how he's feeling about this, all of that. I also have offensive line rankings by one of our coworker Taylor's roommates named Ian, who works in finance. But every year he does offensive line rankings because he's a Jets fan, and there's always an offensive lineman that they need or want.
What is his expertise in offensive line?
Absolutely none. He just watches. He didn't even play football. He just really goes and he grades the offensive linemen. The Tennessee Titans are officially on the clock. The draft is underway.
Exciting. This is exciting.
We have the giveaway that we mentioned. We also have the Beast with us from the Athletics. So if we have any questions, I can consult the Beast at any point in time. And because we weren't sure the level of preparation, we went upstairs. We were eating lunch. And Hawk was watching game tape, and he has stuff on every single player. So we should have you covered for all angles tonight.
Every single guy known to man in college football. I actually have been watching a considerable amount of college tape because of the transfer portal.
You mentioned that in passing earlier, and I was curious as to why you're watching the transfer portal so closely.
I'm not at liberty to say, but let's just say I may or may not be consulting, helping an FBS football program find the diamonds in the rough necessary to take their program to the next level.
You know, I was watching the film over his shoulder, and his notes and mine were very similar.
See?
Like, he was writing some stuff, and I was like, you know what? That guy, he's got a little bit of a problem changing direction.
There it is.
I was writing the same things.
We're lockstep. Cam Ward, is this where this is getting drafted?
It would appear as though Cam Ward will probably be the number 1 pick in the draft. I was talking to some Titans fans earlier who were not excited about Cam Ward being their quarterback of the future. I don't know. Ask the guy over there with the beard and the glasses.
I need a real reason.
Ranting. He's right there next to Steve McNair.
Why are you not excited about Cam Ward being your quarterback of the future? Here's what I love about Cam Ward. He's gone to 3 programs, and you asked a question earlier. I'm not gonna step on the toes there, but it was basically related to, like, you know, your sentiment around the game of football as a prospect. And a lot of times when you see guys bounce around program to program, it feels icky to me as a football person. Like, I want the person who wants development. I want the person who's focused more on how good they can get rather than what the program is doing for them. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but when I look at Cam Ward, I feel the opposite, because I feel like he's a guy who, again, started from the low of the low. There was a meme going around, like, judging him against, I think it was DJ Ugalele. Is that how you say his last name?
Sure.
Ugalele.
Yes.
Yes. But he was a 5-star. Cam Ward was a 0-star.
A 0-star. Going to be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Which means they didn't even waste the time to grade him. So this is a guy who bounced from program to program, but at every level was at a quest to prove who he was. And when you hear him speak, when you hear him talking about the draft, when you hear him talking about his career, and he continues to lament that he is not worried about where he's drafted, but he is worried about the actual career. Like, he doesn't care where he's taken. And I know that's cliche, everybody says that, but I don't know, when you hear him speak, you just feel it. You feel a confidence. You feel a guy who's out to prove he's one of the best quarterbacks in the world.
Let me ask you, going to the Titans, is that a good spot for him? Like, do they have enough around him for there to be enough success for you to think after year 1, this was a good pick?
Here's my thing with quarterbacks, especially ones that get drafted early on. I don't want to coddle a first-round quarterback, to be honest. Yeah, there's situations you can go in
They're so often
that are better than other ones, but typically, again, a team that's drafting that high, you're not very good. But what I want is a quarterback who feels like they're the catalyst to turn that around, who's genuinely confident to say, I don't give a damn what the O-line looks like right now. We'll get it better. I don't give a damn who I have at receiver. I don't give a damn who the coach is. The fact that you have me in the building means you'll have a chance, whether it's this year or over time.
You mentioned him bouncing around from school to school and saying that sometimes you like to see players stick around and develop more. One of the things that he did and the reason that he bounced around is out of loyalty to the coach who brought him, because he didn't get a lot of offers. So he went to Incarnate Word, and then his head coach goes on to Washington State. So he follows his coach to Washington State out of loyalty to him. After he had some successful seasons, Lane Kiffin was coming. Lane Kiffin was trying to get him, and he stayed loyal to his coach. He stayed loyal to Washington State. His senior year, he eventually leaves. He goes down to Miami, obviously. Yeah. But while bouncing around, he was staying loyal to the people who believed in him when no one else did, and no one else gave him the opportunities.
Yeah, and on top of that, it is not disconnected that his coach from Incarnate World goes to Washington State. That gets that opportunity as a coach, because you have a player like Cam Ward,
like you were just saying,
who gives you all that success. And again, now it's like I'm riding your coattails as much as you're riding mine.
So that coach, Eric Morris, was also Patrick Mahomes' offensive coordinator at Texas, at Texas Tech. So a good guy to be following around. There are comps there between Cam Ward and Patrick Mahomes, as some people have said. Not saying that he's going to be Patrick Mahomes, but saying that he makes the most out of certain opportunities the same way that Patrick Mahomes does.
Yep.
The off-kilter stuff, the play breakdown, run around, scramble, make a play, shovel it to your tight end who was supposed to be blocking the whole time anyway.
It's crazy that is like the standard now. Yeah. Now we want you to be so off-script that we compare you to Patrick Mahomes. The thing I like about Cam Ward, even with those off-script, and he can get off-script a little unnecessarily at times. He does leave the pocket probably a little too early at times. but I never feel like he's doing it just because. I'll be honest, with Caleb Williams, there's been so many moments, and obviously hindsight is 2020 now that we have his rookie season to compare it to. But coming out of the draft, I had Jaden Daniels over him for that reason, because it felt sometimes that he was doing it because he had a knack for the flair of it all. And I don't want that in my quarterback. Like, you can make the wrong decision as long as in the moment you felt like this is what needed to happen. I don't always feel that way with Caleb Williams when I look at his college film.
All right, guys, the pick is in. It hasn't been announced yet. And before we get the official announcement, I want to ask both of you, bold prediction for tonight. What do you guys think? What's something crazy that could happen tonight in the draft? Billy, you go first.
I think my bold prediction is going to be that Cam Ward will be the number one pick in the draft today. There's a lot of people out here, some hubbub, people saying maybe he won't be.
Pretty sure it's official.
A lot of people have been saying it, Billy.
People have been saying it,
I like
hey,
that.
Billy, I'm hearing different things.
People like to say things.
Sometimes
Here comes
you
the
got to go
commissioner.
out on a limb. I mean, we'll see if Billy's right before I give my bold prediction.
Yeah.
Oh,
here we go.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans
Select Cam Ward.
Oh, there's smoke shooting out of the ceiling here in Tennessee.
They didn't go as crazy in here as I thought they would be.
There's people don't seem as excited about this pick.
They didn't go nuts.
Doesn't seem like they think they found their franchise quarterback. How do you feel about that, by the way? People comparing him to last year's quarterback trap. Ooh, we have breaking news.
We have breaking news.
So the Browns were on the clock. The Browns have traded their pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I love it.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are picking at number 2. Are they taking the same guy we thought the Browns were taking? Are they taking Travis Hunter? They do need a wide receiver.
They do. They also need a defensive lineman.
They need a defensive lineman.
They need a quarterback. Sorry, hot take.
They need an everything.
Tight end.
They need an everything.
Wow.
The Jacksonville Jaguars need a little bit of literally everything. But there's somebody. I feel like it's got to be Travis Hunter.
I mean, it'd be crazy to trade up all the way to 2 from 5. Not to take the guy that was going to go at 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's Abdul Carter.
It's got to be one of those two.
I mean, we assume the Giants were going to take Abdul Carter, so if they trade up, maybe they're trying to get him. I don't know. Kind of rude of them, by the way, to not let Cam Ward have his moment.
Yeah, because we already transitioned.
We can't even see him celebrate this situation. Everybody's on to talking about the Jaguars.
Also, I don't know why it was weird for me to hear Roger Goodell call him Cameron Ward.
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
Because obviously his full name is Cameron. I don't know what I expected. Maybe Cambria.
You know what? A little bit of a
made up.
pet peeve, Roger Goodell. You're going to be announcing these players' names. Maybe learn a few of them. I always hate when he comes up and he's got to announce somebody's name and he totally butchers it.
Well,
does he do that a lot?
Oh, he's done it a bunch of times.
He could also just have like an earpiece in where someone says it right before. They just say, "Hey, Raj."
Well, they do.
This is how you say
at the draft, before you go on, they literally give you the card. Sometimes on the card, it's spelled phonetically, so you can, they'll tell you right before you go on stage, as someone who announced the draft pick, humble brag. I don't know how he's doing in the league right now, but that's aside. But they tell you the pronunciation right before you go on stage.
Who'd you announce?
That's a good question.
Okay.
Alex Wright.
Very good.
Defensive end, Cleveland Browns, 2022 draft.
They couldn't have given you a hard one. They gave you Alex Wright.
Yeah.
No.
Did you guys know that the Cam Ward played the drums in his church band with his mom, who played the piano?
Ooh, I like that.
Did you know that Cam Ward's father is a fuel buyer for a nuclear power plant?
Wow.
Which may explain his freakish athletic ability.
Yeah, he's a mutant. Mm-hmm. He's a part of the Marvel Universe.
He might be.
Finally, I've been waiting for Marvel and the NFL to do a collab.
By the way, thanks to everybody at Smirnoff. This is presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. If you're here tonight, why don't you try the home game punch, the Smirnoff Mule, or the Piña Picante?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds spicy.
It does sound spicy.
I've had enough spicy food being here.
I have played it safe, Hawk. Okay, when you go to different cities around, the country, the world, whatever, do you try their local delicacies? Do you go with comfort food? Do you go with what you like? What is your strategy on food?
Yeah, I do my own thing, man. I stick to the basics. Luckily, I have the palate of a 9-year-old, so I'll get down with chicken tenders. And also, Nashville hot. I eat that around the country. So.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up because that's kind of the situation that I'm in is that I have been sick. I have gastroenteritis. We went out and they're like, you need to have Nashville hot wings. And I was like, I don't know about this because I'm not doing well. Yeah. So last night when everybody went out and had that, I got a grilled cheese and was mocked by everyone because of it.
Gotcha.
But here I am today.
Okay.
Spread all the choices and you took, here's the trade details.
Okay.
Wow.
So the Jaguars receive a 2025 second overall pick, the 2025 fourth round pick, the 2025 sixth round pick. The Browns receive the fifth overall pick, the 2025 second and fourth round picks, the 2026 first round pick.
Wow, they got a 2 and a 1. That's a haul.
To move back 3 spots.
To move back 3 spots, you're still going to get a fantastic player.
And the Browns moved up in the 4th.
Wow.
They got a 5th for a 6th. And they got a 2, an extra 2 to move back 3 spots. Damn good job, Andrew Berry.
You think we're going to see a lot of movement tonight? So coming up to today, it was slow, but it kind of felt like the calm before the storm. And here we are, the number 2 pick, and we already have movement.
So it was a big deal that coming into today, this was the first time ever that every team owned their number 1 pick in the draft. Nobody had traded it. There was no leftovers from last year. Already next year, that's out the window. Because now the Browns don't have a first-round pick.
With Cam off the board.
The Jaguars.
With Cam off the board.
Shador is the next best quarterback.
We then think the next best quarterback. There's back and forth. Shador, we thought, might be going number 3 to the Giant. They've moved away from that. It seems as though the pick is in for the Jaguars.
Yes. Yep. They're trying to act like right now Travis Hunter and his mom are trying to act like he's not picked.
Yeah, Travis Hunter, spoiler alert, is going to the Jaguars.
Yeah, I knew it.
Wow.
It's a new regime in
He's trying not to tip the pick. I don't like that. Celebrate.
We're going to see him get up in a second, and what pretend he's going to go to the bathroom. He had the biggest smile on his face 2 seconds ago, and as soon as that red light was on the camera, we pretended not to see it.
The Jaguars front office is celebrating. Travis Hunter on the big screen behind him, for sure.
If you're a Jaguars fan, you have to love this, right? You have a new GM, you have a new coach, and now you have them making the biggest move of the draft so far tonight. Last year's draft, the biggest thing that we saw in the first round that wasn't predictable was Michael Penix.
Yes.
Going. This, I think, is going to be one of the stories of the draft today.
I don't feel like it's such a big deal.
I'm trying to sell it.
I appreciate you. So does the NFL.
Whoa.
You jumped up and you got the guy who played 1,400 snaps last year. Smart. And they need cornerback and receiver help. I think that's why they cared so much, is because I don't think Travis Hunter plays both ways at a lot of organizations. The Jaguars need so much that he will probably get reps both ways there.
Well, so that's what we were talking about before the show, is I was asking you, so if the Browns do take Travis Hunter, how much quarterback do you think he's going to actually play? And now we know he's not going to play any quarterback for the Browns.
Or any receiver.
Yeah.
I never felt like the Browns were truly going to make that move at wideout for Travis Hunter. But here's the biggest issue with Travis Hunter playing both ways. Throughout the season, throughout the offseason, any given day, you're on the field practicing for, give or take, 2 hours a day, okay? The days are roughly 9 to 10 hours long. So for 8 hours, you are in meetings or lifting with your unit. Typically in the morning, when the offense lifts, the defense meets. And then the defense goes and meets, and then the offense lifts at that same time. So just by the 24 hours in a day, it's going to be hard for Travis Hunter to be in those meetings. If he is predominantly going to be a cornerback, it's going to be hard for him to truly take on wide receiver in a way where he's getting like the brunt of the offensive snaps, just by virtue of there's not enough meeting time in a day for him to get prepared for both on a week-to-week basis.
Can I throw out a bold prediction?
Yes. Another one.
Okay, so the Browns have traded down to number 5 to the Jaguars, obviously. Could this be an indication that they like Shador and they think that Shador will still be there at 5 because they know the Giants were not really feeling Shador. They felt safe enough to go get their quarterback and get assets.
Maybe, but that would still even be high for Shador from what I've been hearing.
I mean,
what if we trade down a second time and collect more assets?
The Browns
double trading down. The Browns double trading down would be a great story.
He's done that multiple drafts.
Do the Browns now take Ashton Genty at 5 like we thought the Jaguars might?
I don't hate that idea.
No, I mean...
I don't hate that idea.
They're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to run the ball.
Travis Hunter does not take the NFL serious.
No.
Is that a bold prediction? This feels like he needs to transfer portal to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Are you saying he doesn't love football? No, he loves
because
football.
That's a hot topic right now. We'll get into that later.
I think I love Travis Hunter.
He's easy to love.
Yeah.
He's easy to love.
Travis Hunter's energy is what I wish in my deep, dark dreams that I had in terms of energy and happiness and joy in the world. But instead, I'm just this jaded 38-year-old man.
He's a very optimistic kid. He just seems like he attacks life with such a level of optimism that life is going to suck out of you at one point, kid. Enjoy it, though. That's a good... I'm glad.
This took a very sad turn.
It's life, man.
I'm kind of bummed.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. The Super Bowl is in the rearview mirror. The draft has come and gone. So now what?
Now it's time to get the crew together. You keep the fandom energy going. It doesn't stop when the Super Bowl's gone. We gather.
Exactly. And look, just because the pads are off doesn't mean game day stops. Around here, we do game days, even in the off season. And what better way to do that than with a cold drink and your people around?
You've heard it all season long. Football is not a solo thing. This is not a me thing. This is not an I thing. This is a we thing.
There is no I in fandom, baby. So grab your crew, grab some Smirnoff, and get into that off-season groove. Summer workouts, training camp rumors, fantasy football prep. It's all coming, folks.
And listen, if you're going to sip something while plotting your team's comeback, Smirnoff's got you. It's the perfect vodka for crafting cocktails that are easy and tasty for anyone 21 and up.
Smirnoff isn't just a vodka. It's the #1 vodka in the world and the official partner of the NFL. Grab a bottle of Smirnoff at your local retailer and head to Smirnoff.com to find recipes of delicious cocktails perfect for game day. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff, #21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age.
Mikey, do you have any draft grades so far? We have the predictable #1 and #2 picks, just not to the teams that we thought they were going to.
Is that kind of...
I give the Titans an A. Titans have an A so far.
Oh, yeah, let me go.
The Jaguars have an A so far.
It'd be bad if at 2 picks we had a C or something.
All right, let's should we do Cam Ward, how they should feel, or should we just skip that one because we knew it all along?
I think we could do it.
All right, if you're a Jaguars fan, you should feel kind of meh. You should feel kind of meh. And here's why. You put a lot of eggs in that basket. You gave up your first and second round pick this year, and you gave up your first round pick next year. And you're putting a lot into one player when you had a lot of issues on that team.
Wait, they gave up a first round pick for next year?
Next year. The Jaguars traded a 1, 2, and 4 this year and a 1 next year.
Yeah, but you got a receiver and a corner. Jeez. So you basically traded for 2 players.
Well, according to Hawk, you might not have both. You have a little bit of one and a lot of another.
Well, that's the scary part. It's because they're going to, you're going to get 65% of them on both ends. You're going to get the second round version of him as a corner and a second round version of him as a receiver if you don't have a real plan. It's just not on the surface, he can play both ways. We're going to do it.
I trust the Jaguars to have a plan.
That's good. That's good. You
trusted Tony Baselli?
You know what? This is actually a huge move for Tony Baselli. Look at him.
He hired the guy that made this deal.
Guy makes the Hall of Fame, all of a sudden balls. Just starts making all these crazy moves.
Tony Baselli juked my brother out in an NFL game.
Really?
Yeah, or he tackled my brother in the open field. That's what it was. My brother scooped the fumble that he should have took for a touchdown, one-on-one with Tony Baselli, and Tony just corralled him in the open field. Most impressive thing I've seen from an offensive lineman.
That's just impressive. Any talk about the New York Giants possibly trading out is now squashed. They have made their pick. The New York Giants have made a pick at 3. We're assuming it's Abdul Carter here.
Bold prediction, Abdul Carter.
You guys are missing the meaning of the term bold.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you this. In our USA Today AI mock drafts.
Are we spot on right now?
No, Microsoft Copilot had Abdul Carter going second, and Meta AI had Abdul Carter going second. Grok and ChatGPT so far have been undefeated.
What does this mean for AI?
I don't know.
I think we're going to settle right now which AI is the best. We're going to settle it tonight by how close they were in their mock.
Can I give you a spoiler alert? Because I'm not sure we're going to get this far. Just a preview of how AI does things. ChatGPT, you know who they had at the 21st pick in the draft? So I guess the Steelers' 21st pick in the draft.
Who? Cam Ward?
Jalen Milroe.
Ooh.
I have not seen Jalen Milroe be a first-round pick anywhere.
I wouldn't have him as a first-round pick, but I do believe there will be teams that get enamored with his physical traits. And it's not crazy to see teams reach for quarterbacks, the most important position in all of professional sports. Just throwing that out there.
All right, the Giants pick is in.
The Giants pick is in.
It's Abdul Carter.
Not surprising. A little bit superfluous, considering they have Kevin Thibodeau and Brian Burns already playing that edge rush spot. But, I mean, Abdul Carter, is he just a talent you can't pass up?
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're in a conference with Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, and say what you want about Dak Prescott. Those are 3 really good quarterbacks. So for an organization that is not positioned to have one of those guys, you better have a damn good unit who can get after those guys. Adding Abdul Carter to that unit you talked about helps them raise their profile a little bit in that division.
It's also a great pick for him to fall to the Giants essentially at number 3, because a month and a half ago, people were saying this is the most talented guy in the draft. This could be the number 1 pick. And then all of a sudden he shows up at the combine, medical tests show that he has an issue, and then it becomes a question of, whoa, does he need to have surgery? Is he going to plummet in the draft? They said, no, he's fine. And here he goes, number 3. No surgery needed, at least at the moment. So see how it works out for the Giants? They still need a quarterback.
Still need one. And maybe he can play both ways. Maybe he can play a little quarterback.
He can throw the ball?
Is this
as good as anybody they have?
Is this a make or break season for Brian Daboll?
That's the tough part, right? Because I think Brian Daboll's in that situation, like, you know, you almost want to reset. You know, like if he doesn't, they're basically going to line it up to where his ousting is going to be the next person who comes in with the quarterback.
What does he have to do this year to keep his job?
Well, here's the thing.
Playoffs.
So see, that's you're a what, a 3 or 4 win team to have a playoff mandate. Like, you might as well have just gotten it over with and got rid of him. If you're telling me as an owner, and I wouldn't put it past John Mara to be this guy, if you're telling me we have to go from the 3rd overall pick to playoffs or you're fired, you might as well just fire him.
Yeah, I mean,
that sounds like indecision. And that's the last thing you want from the head of an organization.
Is he tied to Joe Shane? Or can this be a situation where they get rid of Joe Shane and then Daboll survives, at least for a season? Because right now, you have a situation when Russell Wilson, your starting quarterback, Jameis Winston is your backup. Neither one of them, as fun as Jameis Winston might be, are going to be the quarterback that is your quarterback of the future. But also you see here with the number 3 pick, they elected not to go after quarterback. They already have quarterback depth, so they don't really need one. But if your job is on the line and that's what you need, you can reach and get one. They're not really giving Daboll anything to work with here in terms of having an incredible increase from 3 wins to playoffs this year.
On paper, are the Giants better today? Like, I mean, I know Abdul Carter is that good, but like he's going to be replacing guys that are already that good in the rotation. Like you're going to go from Brian Burns to Abdul Carter, and it's like, okay, we can still do what we already could do. We can just do it more.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine life without it, though. I mean, that's and if you don't feel great about the quarterbacks in that situation, again, you don't reach for it. And I'm sure the organization is already aligned on that. Like, okay, we don't feel great about the quarterback options outside of Cam Ward. And also Brian Daboll, I'm sure, is not going to hitch his wagon there either too early on. The case for Brian Daboll, if I'm his agent, and they go into this season, they don't have success, and they only end up with 3, 4, 5 wins, it's, oh, well, we had Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. Like, that's what my argument is going to be to organization, to ownership, to the media. Like, what could you really expect? It's going to be hard to argue that. So I feel like that's where he's going to kind of hit you. And then if you have success, it points to what? I'm a great head coach. Look what I was able to do with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston.
You gave me Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson, and Jameis Winston.
That's it.
And then you expect playoffs.
Give me a real quarterback and watch what I do, and that will buy him the time that he needs. So he's not in a terrible position. And it's just that I think the things around Brian Daboll for me is more of locker room stuff that you heard or you saw when things went bad, and that's typically a symptom of, again, a coach that doesn't have a great feel for his locker room.
So I am consulting with my AI mock drafts, and I told you before that ChatGPT had Jalen Milroe at 21 because I had that highlighted. I buried the lead. I forgot to tell you that Grok had Jalen Milroe at the number 6 pick in the NFL draft.
Oh.
They had Shedeur Sanders going 3rd. That didn't happen, and they have Abdul Carter falling to 15. So right now, I would say that Grok is having the roughest night.
What is AI like? What are they doing?
Listen, man. You're the one that knows about this stuff, not me. With your virtual
with
reality and your video games,
the
and
AI
technologies.
like it's feeding its model with mock drafts from Gen Pop. That's the issue. Like it's got to get down to the experts because no expert has Abdul Carter going 15.
Well, not only that, it's also feeding from history. And if you look at recent history, we saw what? 6 quarterbacks go, 5 quarterbacks go in the top 12 picks last year, and it's going, oh, so quarterback must be the thing, which it is, but there has to be a certain level of talent.
Yeah. Come on, Grok.
So we are now in a commercial break on television. The Patriots pick is in.
Okay.
When they come back, we are expecting, based on sources, that they will be taking Will Campbell.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to start a run of offensive linemen.
You think it starts now?
I think it's going to start right now. I think we're going to see 4. I think we're going to see 3 in the next 4 picks. Maybe 4 in the next 4.
Is that your bold prediction for the day?
No, that is not my bold prediction, because that wouldn't be bold.
So who goes next? Kelvin Banks to the Browns?
How about Membu? How about Membu?
How about him?
I don't mind Membu. Field Yates has him going 8 to Carolina. You like Membu better than you like Banks, huh?
I think I do. I think Banks is a fast riser, mostly because I think the Raiders love him, which is why I think he's going to go 6.
I'm so curious at who the Browns are going to go with. I think it is either receiver or
Ted McMillan, Ashton Genty.
O-line.
I mean, they need a running back. They need a wide receiver. They need a tackle. They need a quarterback.
I think the Browns want Arch Manning.
So just
getting an extra first-round pick next year.
Keep trading down to next year.
But here's the problem. Mannings don't come out early. Mannings stay in school.
He's also making so much money in school.
Yeah, that too.
But it'll be what, his third year this year?
Yeah, it'll be his. Yeah,
but it'll be his first year as a
he
starter.
would be coming out next year early if he came out.
But after 1 year of starting.
Yeah.
He had some games that he did kind of like mop-up duty, but
he did pretty good. He
started a few games because Ewers got hurt.
Yeah.
Ewers got hurt. He played pretty good. The thing about the Mannings that I love is that, I mean, they don't give a damn about the transfer portal. Like, they're like, yo, you're going to just develop. You'll play 1 year, and you will be a top 5 pick because we've kind of done a lot of that work for you. You don't have to say, oh, I need to see him more.
Listen, Hawk, one of my favorite, you'll learn this in a few picks. I am a big Jets fan.
Okay.
And one of the worst stories as a Jet fan is that Peyton Manning was finished his junior year, and the Jets had the number 1 overall pick. And Peyton Manning, the story goes, Peyton Manning called Drew Bledsoe and said, what's it like playing quarterback for Bill Parcells, who was the coach of the Jets at the time? And after that conversation was over, Peyton Manning was going, I'm going back to school. He would rather go back to school. And I think about what could have been.
Yeah.
I mean, think of how we could have possibly ruined Peyton Manning as a Jet.
That would have been crazy.
Like, we could have ruined him. It would have been so fun.
You could have turned Peyton Manning into Ryan Leaf, which would have been amazing for your organization.
I was going to ask you this with the Jaguars and Travis Hunter. Do you believe that there are franchises that will just simply ruin a player? Where you see a player and you're like, oh man, I really wish my team would get this player. But if they end up on my team, they would not be the player. Here's one that I always wanted to happen, but I was glad that wasn't. So down here, Miami Dolphins fan. I wanted the Dolphins to draft T.Y. Hilton. He was on the board. I'm like, oh, T.Y. Hilton on the Dolphins would be sick. However, if he was down there with whoever the quarterback was at the time, he's not there with Andrew Luck, who was drafted the same year as him, and probably would not have been T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. But I do think I think
ruined my life. Say it, Hawk.
That like still will be them.
Okay.
T.Y. Hilton is one of those guys.
Okay.
Like I played against or coached against T.Y. Hilton as a receiver coach for Toledo, and I was like, holy hell, bro.
Wait, were you the coach when FIU played the Rockets? Was it the bowl game?
2008.
Little Caesar's Pizza Bowl, hot and ready?
I think that was after. He was a young player.
Okay.
Whenever I think they played him twice. You know, like the home and away over like a 3 or 4 year period. Yeah, and he was just taking bubble screens, yard, like 60 yards out to the crib.
You know the story of how he ended up at FIU?
How?
So I think it was down to FIU in West Virginia, maybe like one other school. And what he did was, or Louisville, I think also, and what he did was he put his kid on a bed, and whatever hat the kid crawled towards is the school that he ended up going to.
That's crazy.
So that's how T.Y. Hilton ended up at FIU.
Is he a South Florida native?
Yeah, he's from down there.
What part?
I don't know, man.
Come on, you gotta know.
I can tell you about Abdul Carter at T.Y. Hilton's house or whatever.
Travis Hunter's from Boynton Beach. He reps Georgia, but he lived in Boynton Beach and played football there until he was like 14. Wow. Which is significant.
Yeah.
Now having lived in South Florida myself and seeing the youth football, it tracks.
So he's from Miami Springs.
Miami Springs.
Yeah.
Got it.
Hey, Will Campbell to the Patriots.
Will Campbell.
They got themselves a left tackle.
That's a very Patriots-like pick.
The Browns are on the clock now, and things are about to get fun.
I'm getting excited.
I think we got a couple Browns fans in here. I saw them walking by.
Do we have any Browns fans in here?
Jim Brown jerseys. They're drunk. If I know Browns fans, they're standing literally in the front of the bar.
Oh, there's one Browns fan
right there.
Hi,
there
Browns fan. How are you? So because our first offensive lineman was taking, I have Taylor's ex-roommate, the finance guy's rating of Will Campbell, if you would like it.
Yeah. Does he have him rated first?
Okay, so he has him graded as the #1 offensive lineman out there, so he was right about that. This is Ian, of course. Ian says there's a lot to talk about. His arm, this, arm length, that. You know who else had short arm length, but was the most feared animal to ever walk the entire earth? The T-Rex. Well, T-Rex Campbell prove all the doubters of arm length enthusiasts wrong and will be a perennial Pro Bowler throughout his career. You can't teach heart and love of the game of football. Campbell is the exact guy you want protecting your QB for years to come.
This is the worst
overall grade
report.
A.
Wow. Okay, I don't think he's wrong.
T-Rex Campbell.
T-Rex Campbell.
A little
I
more.
don't hate that.
I like where his head went. I liked how he got there. My good friend Joe Thomas, who was pretty good at playing offensive tackle.
Oh, hold on.
told me.
You dropped this name real quick. Here you
Yeah,
go.
thank you.
Yeah.
We don't have to look at me, Leroy sound bite here, but that would have been a good moment for it. But he also talked about the fact that Will Campbell had short arms, and he said it doesn't matter because the way that they measure offensive lineman arms is like from the shoulder blade to the middle finger, and he's like, well, what if you just have a really long middle finger, which happens, and like a long arm to a short arm is like the difference of an inch or an inch and a half. And he's like, you don't block defensive linemen with your arms, you block them with your feet. Your arms just leverage them. And I said, look, man, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but I believe you because you're a lot better at playing offensive tackle than I am at pretty much anything else in my life.
Yeah, I mean, do we think, are the Patriots in win now mode considering all the money they spent? Now they have their quarterback on the rookie contract. They got him now, a left side protector.
What does win now mode mean? As opposed to what?
You gotta win now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, how long have the Patriots been losing now?
In the organization, they're win now. As a fan, as football analysts, you know, me and you, total football analysts.
Yeah.
Do we think they can win now?
I think they can. I think they could take that 7 seed.
I
think Mike Vrabel is a difference maker.
Yeah.
I don't think Mike Vrabel knows anything other than win now. I think like he's the kind of person who is, you know, stick to his own convictions. Again, we're down here in Tennessee. They know better than anyone. I'm such a huge Mike Vrabel fan. And I think the moves that they've made is less about the organization saying, all right, now's the time, and more about Vrabel being like, this is what the hell we need. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'm not taking this job.
Would you like some fun Will Campbell facts?
Yes, please.
So Will Campbell's father is known as Bull, so his father is Bull Campbell. Their family owns a sporting goods store. Will Campbell's birth certificate was requested on multiple occasions when he was playing as an 8-year-old because they did not believe how old he was.
Valid.
And he was a big hunter growing up, and he took down his first deer at 5 years old.
Oh, wow. Where is he from?
He is from
Browns are announcing.
Monroe, Louisiana.
The Browns are making their pick. We have no idea who it is.
O-line.
Mason Graham.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. I love Mason Graham. He's one of my favorite players in the draft. I still think this is a surprise pick.
Mason Graham. All right, let me pull my Mason Graham scouting report here.
I think Mason Graham is his floor is a starter, a good starter. Which, okay. I mean, if that's what you're drafting, 5th overall, that's pretty good.
In Mel Kiper and Field Yates' mock draft from last week, they had Mason Graham going number 5.
Really?
The number 8 pick, now owned by the Carolina Panthers, is being shopped.
They don't own the pick, but
I feel like this Mason Graham pick is
it's a little bit of a head scratcher considering where he's going, but at the same time, I mean it's a good player. He's the kind of guy that might be able to feast in the inside with Myles Garrett.
Yeah, I mean that's why I like it because it is like, I don't know, they were staring Abdul Carter in the face, and obviously they're like, hey, we have just paid the best edge rusher in the NFL, the most money ever, so let's get him some more help inside. Mason Graham's very versatile. He can play a little bit on the edge if necessary as well. I don't know. It's just interesting. But I didn't expect him to go defensive lineman here.
The interesting question is who's throwing the ball, who's catching the ball, and who's running the ball in Cleveland?
That's it.
Hello? Hi. I'd like to make a toast to the return of baseball and draft season right around the corner. Speaking of drafts, from game night to parties with friends or a special anniversary, celebrating important occasions means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. Now's a perfect time to celebrate legendary stories with friends, family, and a great tasting light beer. It's Miller time, the taste you can depend on. A great beer, trusted by beer lovers for 50 years. The original light beer since 1975 and still iconic 50 years later. Here's to Miller Lite. Hear, hear. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/GBF to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Well, the Raiders did not waste much time.
No, their pick is already in.
Their pick is already in, and most mock drafts had this as write it in magic marker from the moment it goes, and then everybody's like, well, wait a minute, maybe not. Maybe they like Calvin Banks. Nope. They went and they took Ashton Genty. Everybody knows Pete Carroll loves to run the ball.
There it is.
And Ashton Genty is... See, this is one of my problems with what we do during lying season with all the mock drafts and stuff. I saw some analysts say Ashton Genty's ceiling is Walter Payton and his floor is LaDainian Tomlinson. And I'm like, what kind of pressure is that to put on somebody that his floor is a first ballot gold jacket?
Please name that person.
Oh, no, it was, I can't find it.
Just make up a name, it's
but
fine.
It was Billy Gill.
Walter Payton,
It was Billy Gill. Floor is
LaDainian
LaDainian Tomlinson.
That's a real quote.
That is a real quote.
I need to know who that is so I can...
I'm going to find it.
Ashton Genty
Punch
owns
them in the
a
face.
puddle poodle named Coco. So that's his dog, Coco. Just a fun fact.
I like that.
Yeah.
Coco's a good name.
Yeah, it's a good name.
It's a good name. Ceiling sweetness. The floor, LaDainian Tomlinson.
I mean,
okay, that's a meme account, no?
I don't know. It might be.
Did you just get NFL sent-tailed?
I could have, but I saw it and I got upset.
Yeah.
And then I saw a bunch of people like killing it like they should.
I'll tell you
that makes me feel a little bit better about that.
Tell you who's not happy about this? My guy Raheem Mostert, who went to the Raiders. Not a good day for him so far.
Nah, he's okay.
No, Raheem's...
So
how old is Raheem Mostert?
32.
Who was my guy?
He's like 33, 32.
So me and Raheem played together,
Yeah.
and I haven't played in the NFL for like 7 years.
Yeah.
He was a practice squad running back, and he fumbled every time he touched the ball. And I'm like, man, this guy's never going to make it.
It's a rough night. I hope this is taking a nice turn for him because so far it's been a rough night, and now we're just crapping on him.
The good thing about Raheem Mostert is he like stands the test of time, which you don't typically see from running backs that are like him, which are built for speed. So I actually think it was probably a little much to expect that Raheem Mostert was going to take on the brunt of the carries for the Las Vegas Raiders. But this gives him a really like specific role that he could be really good at, which is the change of pace back to the rookie that I'm sure the Raiders are hoping to build around.
Hey, Billy, you and Hawk were talking earlier about how hot it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm not that hot.
Yeah.
Now I'm sweating.
I see you sweating.
You want to know why?
Why?
Jets are on the clock.
Yeah. Jets are on the clock.
The Jets are on the clock, and I'm scared. I'm scared, man.
Are you?
I am. This is my Super Bowl. We talked about this. This is as close as I get to the Super Bowl.
Who do they
as
get?
a Jet fan?
That's
Who do they get?
Who do I want, or who are they going to take?
All right, who do you want?
I want either Warren or Membu. That's who I want.
He also has guys that he told us he's going to walk out.
There
of the show if they
is a
draft.
few names that if they get talked right here, I'm walking out.
Yeah. How do we, before we move on too far to the Jets, how do we feel about Tom Brady, who now has his hands on everything apparently with the Raiders first
taking
pick?
a running back?
Yeah.
A guy who made his living with Kevin Falk.
They had a damn good run game whenever he started out.
They did, but they didn't have a top 6 running back, a top 6 pick running back.
Yeah.
They had a running game.
He's a special player, though.
Yeah.
You know, he's an outlier.
So
and Jarvis
throw the
Green
rules out.
Ellis.
The law firm.
Yeah.
Also one of my guys.
Danny Woodhead.
My favorite Jarvis Green Ellis fun fact is he is Birdman's nephew from Cash Money. And like the two people who started Cash Money Records, Birdman and Slim, he is Slim's son.
Isn't Lil Wayne also his nephew?
Who's?
Birdman? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why they call him the Birdman Jr.
Yeah.
But Jarvis Green Ellis would FaceTime Lil Wayne from like practice.
Okay.
And he would answer in like a brotherly way, not like in a let me show you how my famous friends are.
Just call and check in.
And you know what? I said FaceTime. And I don't think FaceTime was a thing then in 2012.
No, I think you made that story up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
none of that happened.
It was definitely a call.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's me giving a shout to Stugotz.
So I'm looking up some pros and cons on Ashton Genty. Here's a quote. Quote, works his tail off in the weight room and can squat a small house.
Just a small one.
Okay. A small one.
Now, what do we call a small house?
A tiny home.
Because like
I would say less than 1,000
like a
square
bungalow?
feet. No.
A tiny home.
Like a one. Ooh.
Which he probably can squat a tiny home.
The pick is in for the Jets. Yeah. Good news for some, bad news for others. I'm going to stay.
Okay.
I'm okay with the pick. I think it's a good pick. We're good. Okay. The Jets have selected right tackle out of Missouri, Armin Membu. I'm okay with that. I think they're definitely going to need to run the ball, and he solidifies an offensive line. I got a little, and Hawk, you can speak to this. I have a little bit of a problem with this is the third offensive tackle the Jets have taken in 5 years in the first round.
Why do you have a problem with that?
Because at some point you need to hit. At some point you need to develop somebody. So the Jets starting offensive line is a high-priced free agent, 3 first-round picks, and a top second-round pick. I'm all for investing in the offensive line, but at some point you need to develop somebody.
Yeah.
You need to find. You're not going to have sustained success if you can't have a 3rd, 4th, 5th round pick develop into anybody who can do anything on your team. That's my problem.
I don't think you're wrong. I think that's the Jets' problem. I think that they like go all in.
Sure.
And you know, they're trying to hit the easy button so many times, and there are always so many holes to fill that it's always the easiest thing is to always say, go get a tackle. Let me read you the scouting report on Membu. He aligns at right tackle with below average size for an offensive tackle in the NFL, super athletic. His movement immediately stands out with excellent footwork quickness, body control, but average play strength. In the run game, he has a powerful punch. He latches on to defenders and forces at the point of attack, but he has average hand placement. He can get too wide and cause them to not fully sustain his blocks.
Are you trying to make me leave?
I'm just saying, bro.
Are you trying to make me leave?
I'm just reading the scouting report. I just want to give you the information.
What? I don't care about the scouting report you just read. You know who I want to hear?
Yes.
I want to hear Ian. What's his name?
Ian.
I want to hear his scouting report.
So I did read Ian's scouting report to decide whether or not we should read the entire thing again after the T-Rex arms. If you want, I can read you the entire thing.
I actually like the T-Rex arms scouting report.
And if I recall, Ian is a Jet fan, isn't he?
What's that? He is a Jet fan.
This would be a good one.
He had him going as the second offensive lineman. So he had him as the number 2 ranked offensive lineman. He said the prototypical right tackle straight out of the football lab.
Okay. Where is that headquartered?
It's a good question.
My basement.
You live above the football lab.
Yes.
Okay.
I rent it out.
I don't see the football lab in Connecticut. I got to be honest with you.
Do you think it's the nuclear plant that Cam Ward's dad works at?
His dad works at? Maybe.
Is that also the football lab?
I mean, he might have like a competing football lab where he's like doing like flubber or something, right? And first experiments on his son.
That's smart.
So he's out of the football lab. He didn't allow a sack all season. A daunting SEC conference in 2024. He might not necessarily have a blue chip trait to his game, but he's a smooth operator. There's very few weaknesses you can find on his tape. He gave him overall an A- this move.
All right.
So
I think he knew the Jets were going to take him.
He did have a whole section here just in case the Jets took him. Yeah. So he believed the Jets.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I think it's a safe pick. I think right now the draft so far has been a very safe draft.
Yeah, I think this is a safe draft class. I don't think this is the draft class where, outside of Cam Ward, I don't think there's a bunch of guys that you're going to go get. Like, there's no wide receiver that you're like, oh, this guy is a matchup nightmare. Ted McMillan has a lot of strikes against him. He's probably the top wide receiver.
What are the lot of strikes? Because I've
seen a lot of plays off. I've seen not top end speed. I've seen, he's big. He reminds me of Drake London. He's big. He can make contested catches. And Drake London's a great player.
So bad?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
He's a great player. But it's also not a sexy pick.
No,
it's not a sexy pick. It's not Jamar Chase,
it's
where
like
it's like,
Mike
we just got, a guy who's going to break records at the bank and all that. We got a safe wide receiver, a guy who's going to catch the ball when it's near him.
And that sucks for him because he's a really good player.
I agree.
It's like the Drake London comp is good. And like in its full form, it's Mike Evans, the best receiver you've never seen on a commercial, which is like a travesty because he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, or at least he should be. And he still probably has another 5 really good years in him, which is crazy to think about.
We were talking. We spoke to Mel Kiper this week, and Mel said nobody's happy in the first round with a single anymore. They're not even happy with a double. It's a triple or a home run or a grand slam.
Right.
That's the only thing people want in the first round. And I feel like Ted McMillan is a solid double. And nobody wants that.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong.
We were talking a little while ago, by the way, we're presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. We were talking a little bit earlier. The Jets pick is in. We know who the Jets are going to take. We're still waiting for Goodell to officially announce it.
We're so far ahead of the draft right now. It's crazy.
Oh, well.
Here's another thing that's interesting. The Panthers are on the clock, and we heard moments ago that the Panthers were shopping this pick. So do the Panthers keep this pick, or are they able to successfully move it? Who would trade up at this point? Because there was talk about the fact that the Broncos were really interested in Genti if he was still available. Maybe
so were the Bears.
He's gone. So the Bears are not going to trade up for him, obviously. He's off the board. The Broncos don't need to trade up for Genti because he's off the board. I don't know that teams are going to be reaching for Shador just yet if you want a quarterback out there. So who is someone that teams would be trading up for?
Probably a tackle.
There is a fall off in this tackle class, according to most of the talking heads, most of the evaluators. There is a fall off after
Simmons.
I think some people have the guy out of Minnesota in that area too, but there is a big fall off. So if you want a tackle, you have to get him now. There's still 2 really good pass rushers from Georgia. I expect the Carolina Panthers, who have made the pick, Billy. The Panthers have made the pick. I expect the Panthers to probably take one of the Georgia pass rushers here. And after that, I mean, you still have 2 of the highest rated players in the draft. The only problem is they both play tight end, a position that's not listed as a premium position.
I wouldn't mind a tight end here, especially, given Bryce Young's kind of resurgence.
Sure.
Short quarterbacks, you give them a run game, and you give them a tight end.
Yep.
That's like 101 easy target for your quarterback.
Well, the pick is in for the Panthers, and I was wrong.
Oh, that was a quick turnaround.
Which is common. The Panthers went with the double. They're taking Ted McMillan.
Really?
Which is, you just said you give your quarterback, Ted McMillan is as close to a tight end as a wide receiver as you're going to get.
You give him
He's a big guy. He's a guy that you don't have to be completely accurate with the throw. You just have to kind of get it near him.
Yeah. Yes. Incredible ball skills. Very big target. Not the quickest.
No.
But he plays his butt off. The quite polar opposite of the way I play.
Oh.
I like to drop a ball once every 4 times.
You didn't play your butt off.
Let you know. I did play my butt off.
Okay.
I did. But look, Ted McMillan, I like him. He is very versatile, even at his size. He plays inside, he plays outside. Ball skills literally off the charts. So anything he lacks in top line speed, you kind of give him a pass for, because the ball in his facility, contested catches, even coming out of breaks. Again, you're not going to look at him and be like, oh, man, that feels like Tyreek Hill for obvious reasons. But in his plays, when you look at his explosive plays, he's playing his tail off. So if his 40 time is a 4.52, 4.55, 4.48, kind of different clocks, you're getting that full amount on film. There's so many guys that I see that are like high 4.3s, low 4.4s, and you cut the film off and they're not separating at that rate. With Ted McMillan, you're getting his full speed and you're getting everything else that comes with it.
I still think they have so many holes on that team. Pass catcher was one. But I mean, they can't get to the quarterback at all. I mean, are we going to see the slide that we saw last year from edge rushers? Because I think we went to like 16 last year before we saw the first defensive player go last year. It could be.
I mean, look, when I look at the Panthers, obviously they're picking where they're picking for a reason. And I think with that organization, even if their defense is trash this year and they can't get to the quarterback, if their quarterback that they have plays well, they're going to look at that like they won the damn Super Bowl.
So let me ask you, is Bryce Young good? I mean, what we saw the first few years was not good.
No.
And then he got benched and he came back and he looked like a different player.
He did. I think Bryce Young is good. I think he's talented.
Is this a make it or break it year for him?
Now they're getting him weapons too.
I don't think it's a make it or break it year. I feel like that they've seen enough to say, okay. I mean, obviously, if he comes out and is just terrible, you're going to always. This is what we do. We analyze and overanalyze quarterback by the play, by the drive, by the half,
by the wins and losses, which is really not fair.
But even still, like I think from what I saw from Bryce Young a year ago, was him kind of let go, man. Like there's a perfection element, especially for a kid like him. 5-star, has his pick of the litter of the school he wants to go to, wins the Heisman, national championship, first overall pick. Like he is groomed to be in the position he's in, even if he's not prototypical size. Him getting bent was the best thing that could have happened to him because he just kind of went through it and was like, yo, to hell with it. And then you could see his real potential.
Well, here's the thing that works against him is that David Tepper is somewhere between impulsive and insane.
Yeah.
So everything that you're saying makes perfect sense, but you have no idea what this guy is going to do one day to the next.
And I like those traits in my edge rushers.
Impulsive or insane?
Yeah.
Okay.
In between there. I like my edge rushers that ownership is
not the best.
Who's the most insane player you played against? The guy where you're like...
Insane?
Yes. The guy that you were... You might be a little scared of him. Like, he didn't realize this was a game and a job. Like, he took this way too seriously.
I think everybody takes it serious. I had a coach that would tell us, you need to go out here like lives are at stake, because they are. Is what he would tell us before he went on the field. And I'm like,
livelihoods, maybe.
I'm like, that's not reassuring. No, you could actually die out there.
Well.
So he's like, I want you to take it that serious, because he would basically tell us, like, just so you know, they're trying to kill you. And he would be being so serious. But I played in the AFC North at a time when there was Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs,
James Harrison,
Palomalu, like.
Okay.
So insanity
so a lot of
norm.
them. Got it.
On our team, we had a guy by the name of Vontez Burfict. You may have heard of him. And he was top of the insanity list because he wouldn't even turn it off in practice. So the things you saw him do on Sundays, we would practice against him and think, yo, I don't know what the hell this dude's going to do. And that is a tough place to be in when you're like, I don't know what you're going to do because you don't know what you're going to do.
Well, is that a switch that he had just on and off the field, or that's just how he lives his life?
No, that was him on the field, but it wasn't like he didn't make the delineation between practice and a game. You know, he could turn it off in the locker room, he could turn it on and turn it off in life, but a football field was a football field to him. It didn't matter whose jerseys were on the other end.
Hey, that looked like a good Smirnoff. By the way, we're presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. If you're here, fans, enjoy a home game punch, a Smirnoff Mule, a piña picante. Wanted to call it piñata, but that's not what it's called.
No. Saints are on the clock.
Yeah.
Who's playing quarterback for him?
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr's got a shoulder injury, might not play all year. He might be out for the year on a $60-something million cap hit.
Gotta love it, man. Good for Derek Carr.
Could this be Shador?
Damn good.
Could it be?
Shador?
It could be. I don't think it is.
No.
You don't. Oh,
wow.
So Ted McMillan had been throwing with Bryce Young already in Los Angeles.
Oh.
Does Bryce Young have the clout in the organization to be like, hey, that's my guy.
No.
Go get him.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Well, maybe.
I think so.
Or do you think somebody said, hey, Bryce, get on a plane, go to L.A., we want you throwing with this guy?
Yeah, I think it was like, who do you like? Who do you like out of these receivers? And he's like, yo, I think Ted McMillan is the guy. So it might not be the deciding vote, but it's significant to get that from your quarterback.
So the Saints aren't going to take Shador.
Okay.
No.
But are they going to take Jackson Dart? No,
they're not taking him either.
The slide officially starts for Shador.
Are we calling this the official slide?
This is the official slide.
He's already...
Look at a team that needs a quarterback. And it's like, oh, this is one of the teams we've heard that could make sense. One of the first ones, the slide has officially started.
How far is the slide?
Is he at the draft?
He is not.
Ooh,
there's no telling, man.
That's not great.
I think I'm actually of the mindset that don't avoid the camera when the slide happens. You got to lean into it. You play to the team's
Put it on your shoulder.
You let the heartstrings tug.
I have a bold prediction.
Out of sight, out of mind. Go ahead.
On where Shador is going to go.
Okay.
Is it bold?
It is bold.
All right.
The Los Angeles Rams.
That's bold.
The Los Angeles Rams at 26. I think they could take him with the understanding of Stafford is not long for this league.
Yeah.
And we have one of the best offensive minds in the game. Mm-hmm. Los Angeles Rams. That's my bold prediction. Meanwhile, the Saints are taking Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle, Texas. I mean, good for them.
I can tell you what.
Why don't we get excited about offensive linemen in the draft, man?
It's not sexy. It's not.
I know it's not.
The best line I ever heard about an offensive tackle was after the Jets took one. He said, "Hopefully, you never hear my name again, because if you ever hear my name as an offensive tackle again, chances are I did something wrong."
So
that's so true. It's so messed up, but it's true, bro.
That was DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
Yeah.
I have a ranking here for Kelvin Banks Jr. from Ian Taylor's roommate.
I need to know how to feel about it. Saints fans need to know how to feel about it.
So here's what Ian says. First, he calls him Calvin Banks Jr., which isn't a good sign.
That is not a good start.
He has him ranked 6th, so he does not have him being the third one taken off the board. And this may be wrong name, ranked 6th. Maybe kind of an indicator of where this is going. He says, quote, a lot of scouts and so-called experts will have Banks as one of the top-rated O-line in the draft. Quite frankly, I just don't see it. While Banks does have all the traits you want in an offensive tackle, the tape does not lie. Digging into the details, you will find foot speed and hand placement issues, which will be exposed and lead to more penalties at the NFL level. Overall grade, C-. And the C stands for certified bust.
I thought it was going to be C for Calvin, even though he doesn't spell it that way either.
Yeah, C for Calvin would have been a good one. That's harsh. He's not wrong, but I think
he's certainly not right. Though.
He's in finance. He's in finance, so
that's a finance guy, Ian.
How excited is he that we're talking about him?
I think Banks transitions to offensive guard.
Okay,
and I think that's where he lives because a lot of the issues that you see on film from him are because he's a little out of position. He's a little small for offensive tackle, not like the greatest size, not like, but. Even the fact that he has that versatility, I think, is one of the reasons why the Saints got him at the moment at the space that they did. Because I do think he could be an elite guard, and I think he'll be a serviceable offensive tackle.
They just lost Ryan Ramczyk. He retired after a year of not being able to play with knee injuries. This to me feels like kind of what the Jets are doing in that we know we don't have our quarterback. We know he's not on the roster. We know he's not in this draft class. So what we're going to do is when the one comes along next year, he's going to come into a better situation.
Yeah. Yep.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
Build the world.
It is. It's dawning on me when we go over Ian's analysis that he has an issue with Kelvin Banks Jr.'s arm length, but with Will Campbell, he was calling him a T-Rex and saying that he was going to be a superstar regardless of his arm length.
And therein lies the bias.
I feel like we may be having issues here. Yeah.
So is he like Spinosaurus? Does he not like? What are we?
Who is Ian's favorite college football team?
That's a good question. I can look into that if you'd like.
Please. If he's a Jets fan, he doesn't like college football.
Yeah, probably not.
Or he likes Notre Dame. The Bears have made their pick.
Oh, the pick is in.
And the Bears throw a little bit of a curveball here.
Okay.
They are going with the tight end, but it's not Tyler Warren like everybody thought it would be as the first tight end taken. The Bears are taking Colston Loveland out of Michigan,
boy.
Which is, I love the idea of Ben Johnson being in the lab with two tight ends that are different in how they play. In Cole Kmet and now Colston Loveland. You have Roma Dunze, you have DJ Moore. I mean, Caleb Williams is going to be running out of any type of excuse between the rebuild offensive line. They did all that work in free agency, and now you've got him multiple weapons that can come from anywhere on the field. I mean, Caleb Williams, you might have a little bit of pressure on you.
I mean, I think he already had pressure on him, but I think you're absolutely right. It's like you add somebody like Loveland, and we just talked about it with Bryce Young. Like, I have no idea what he's saying.
Me neither.
Because I have headphones on.
We got some great fan interaction going here.
Tyler Warren.
Now they're saying Tyler Warren. Now they're saying Tyler. I'm getting bad information.
We got correction here from the audience.
Wow.
It's actually Tyler Warren.
You had one job.
Uh-oh.
Okay, and now we have
now I'm being told he's wrong.
Now we're being
I think
told
you guys should bet a shot on it.
Okay.
Now this is
our
bold
producer
prediction.
is telling us it's Colston Loveland. Fan is telling us it's Tyler Warren.
This is a dope moment for me.
Now we have to wait.
Laura Rutledge, Colin Wolf on stage together.
Yeah.
Two of my favorites.
It seems as though they definitely took a tight end, though. We're just not sure which tight end they took.
We're not sure which tight end.
Colston Loveland, by the way, fun fact, he raised animals as a child and he competed in the rodeo. He often missed times at school and trained to brand calves.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy. Now, I just need to figure out which tight end this actually is. That's an important piece of this show. I tend to feel like I'm going on your side, man.
Yeah?
I feel like you had it right.
I would love to take all the credit, and I will, but I'm getting that information from.
I like how you're getting out from underneath it in case
Mike
it's wrong.
Fuentes. In case it's wrong,
I like what
I get
you
to
did,
throw
man.
that.
That's why you're a pro.
Exactly.
You get out from underneath it, you put it on the next guy, just in case.
But if it's right, I'm the one talking.
The win's not worth it. I agree. Just so everyone knows, this was not me.
Quick reminder as we wait to find out which tight end was taken. If you're watching along on YouTube, we are giving away on the internet a Cam Ward #1 jersey, and reminder, he will not be #1 because Warren Moon was #1 and that number's retired.
Yes,
so
but he did get drafted.
This is a one of a kind.
He definitely will not be. Also, these jerseys are coming out May 14th, so you're going to be one of the first people. Oh, never mind. The schedule is coming out May 14th.
Look at this information.
Big day for me.
Thank you, Mike Fuentes, for saying that in the middle of me talking about a jersey. Also, if you're here, we're going to be giving away this jersey to one of you that I guess is a Titans fan, or if you're not a Titans fan, you might still win one.
Who are the Bears picking? I love the suspense.
I can't wait to find out myself.
And let's also just put out there that taking information from a random fan and then putting it up there with our producers is a bold choice.
It is.
But I love this.
I mean, he was so sure he had to interrupt everything to make sure we knew.
I completely lost I thought he was a producer the way he got my attention.
He was very confident.
And that's what life is about, being that confident.
Yeah.
That's what I want from my quarterback.
I kind of hope that he does that after every pick and just tells us that we're wrong because we're in an effort to beat the delay, we're jumping the announcement of the picks as we see them.
Yeah.
And if we're wrong, it would be incredible.
Let's see.
Okay.
Man, I do love Loveland, though. No pun intended.
Yeah.
I have his film pulled up here on PFF. I'm watching him out of the slot, just natural hands. He looks more like a receiver when he runs routes. Matchup nightmare, like he really is the lightning to Cole Kmet's thunder for Caleb Williams. if indeed he is the pick.
I think that's really the difference between him and Tyler Warren. I feel like Tyler Warren is much more of an inline tight end.
Yeah.
Now, he's still a matchup nightmare in the passing game, but I think Tyler Warren is a little bit better in the run game and the blocking.
He feels a little redundant to Cole Kmet if you go with Tyler Warren.
Yep.
But, again, looking at Loveland, again, he moves like a receiver, man-to-man, third downs. Like, I won't dare to call him Travis Kelce, but you're getting that kind of a matchup with him because he can switch his hips, he can drop his weight, he can get in and out of breaks, and he's good after the catch.
Whereas Tyler Warren is much more Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Not to, set too high a bar for these two tight ends.
Let's just keep doing it, bro. Yeah. In the spirit of Ashton Gentry being either Sweetness or Damian Thomason, let's just start giving everybody ridiculous ceiling and floors. I'm all for that, bro. So
I was wondering what all the boos were, then I realized the draft is in Green Bay and Chicago's picking.
Yes.
Colston Loveland.
All right, shout out
to our fan producer.
All right, so our producer is just taking it all in stride. He was absolutely right. It was Loveland. I don't know why we ever questioned it. And he's already on to the next pick. So for whatever happens the rest of this night, whoever came up here and told us it was Warren, they're automatically out of the jersey running. Is that okay?
I was actually going to say the opposite.
Can I make that? I'm just kidding.
Feel free to interrupt every single pick announcement and tell us whatever you want.
Content is content.
How much is wrong.
So now you get 2 tickets in the jersey raffle.
Wow. The San Francisco 49ers didn't let a minute go by on the clock before they made their pick.
Kyle Shanahan.
And
that means he got his guy.
The pick is in, at least according to our producer. I don't know about our fan producer, but it is Mikael Williams, which is a little bit surprising because Javon Walker's still on the board, and most people had him ranked as the number 2 edge rusher after Abdul Carter.
That's what I love about Kyle Shanahan because he sees things his way.
Yeah.
Like he has traditionally always gone with the guys that he values at a certain space. And a lot of times it feels like a reach on draft day, but now we're at a space where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that's, if he says he's the next best edge, all the rankings will change. This is an A+ pick. This is a guy that, a lot of people didn't know about, but we all did.
You know what? Building your team the way only you see it is job security.
Yes.
Because if they were ever to get rid of Kyle Shanahan, the next coach is going to come in and be like,
what the hell?
What is this? What am I supposed to do with these pieces?
Exactly. Genius.
It's job security. That's smart. That's playing chess.
Mikael Williams, scouting report. All right.
Who is he?
He aligns at edge in various techniques. Not a whole lot of production in his last season at Georgia, but the physical traits are there. Very good length, elite strength and explosiveness as an athlete, which Kyle Shanahan loves. He loves guys that look very twitchy on film. In the pass game, average get-off, but outstanding speed to power with a very good motor. Overall, better in the run than in the pass. A 4-3 scheme fit with in-hand in the dirt. Needs to expand his pass rushing ability at the next level. He's still raw. He's a project. Average starter with some weaknesses to his game, but a solid upside as a starter.
Here's something that I've kind of noticed in all the mock drafts and stuff I'm reading. We always talk about Georgia defenders, and for as many great ones as they are, they're usually not on the edge. There's a lot of good interior defensive linemen and a lot of good linebackers, off-ball linebackers, and then some in the secondary. But like the edge rushers don't always live up to the hype because of, when you're rushing next to Jalen Carter, of course there's going to be a lane for you.
Right.
You can't get double teamed. So it's interesting to see how 2 Georgia pass rushers are likely to go in this top 15-20, wherever Javon Walker goes. And, they don't always have the success in the NFL that you'd think they would.
I'm trying to pull up his sacks. I want to get a look at what we're looking at with Mikael Williams. Because it said he's not that great in the pass game, in the pass rushing department. He's better against the run. And I'm just trying to think defensively for the 49ers.
Are sacks in college kind of like touchdowns where it's it's a fun stat, it's a sexy stat, but is it the end all, or are you more looking at pressures?
For him, it was not a sexy stat. He had 14 career sacks, 4.5,
he only had
4.5,
6
and 5. Yeah, he didn't have a ton.
Yeah, so I think, I think pressures are important. I think when you're scouting college players, like the really good ones, production is more of like a checkbox, right? Like I'm looking at what I see. I'm looking at your speed. I'm seeing your explosiveness. I'm seeing your hands. I'm seeing all these like traits, and I want the production to line up with what I'm seeing. And if not, I need an explanation of why you don't have 15 sacks at Georgia. And if it's because you're playing with 10 other NFL players, that checks out. Okay. You know, if it's because you came, from an athlete who developed at this stage, that checks out. So, but I do like to see even my college guys, like I want my receivers to be able to score touchdowns.
Sure.
I want you to be able to have explosive plays at whatever the hell level you're playing at. And I want my edge rushers to be able to get to the damn quarterback, because to me, if nothing else, that says you care about that.
Because of the depth of the rotation in Georgia, he only averaged 33.5 defensive snaps per game. So he didn't get a ton. Also, here in his strengths, he has arms the length of an anaconda.
Okay.
Yeah.
That felt a little freaky, but I get what you're going. I get what you're saying, man. Because anacondas don't have arms.
I'm just reporting.
Does he not want none?
if he has arms the length of anaconda arms, that's a problem.
Anaconda's arms are actually shorter than a T-Rex.
Yeah. I think he has arms the length of anaconda bodies, not the length of anaconda arms.
Okay, I got it. All right.
But I'll look into it further.
Please.
I'll get back to you on this one.
All right. I would love a little bit more clarity.
Yeah.
Around that analogy.
Also, he's compared to JPP, which is good.
No, that's not high enough. We have to go better than that.
But
JPP was damn good.
He was, but how about OC?
JPP could have been better than OC. If he didn't blow his fingers off.
Was he?
Yeah.
That could have been,
but accidents happen.
Hey, the Dallas Cowboys are on the clock.
What? This is a good one.
I have no idea what they're going to do.
Man. Interior defensive line. Who's the top interior defensive line right now on the board?
Probably out of Ole Miss is rising up the board. Do they take Amari Hampton? Do they take the running back? Do they take Matthew Golden? Do they take the next best wide receiver available?
I like Golden.
Do they take Javon Walker? They might lose Micah Parsons.
I think they're not losing Micah Parsons, bro.
You can only pay so many guys.
There's no way.
I
don't think out of those three, Micah's the one they let walk.
Micah's the only one who doesn't have the contract.
Right, but I think you offload one before you just decide not to give Micah one.
I agree, but at the same time, what Jerry Jones is going to do is a different story.
Yeah.
Looking at the board here, we're in the Shador slide at the moment. Where do you
we're
see
officially in slide mode here.
Because Cowboys, Dolphins, Colts, Falcons, Cardinals, Bengals. We have quarterbacks of these teams. We're going to have someone trade up to get him, but why would you need to trade up? Because you know none of them are going to take him.
Because you want to get ahead of a team like Pittsburgh.
We're just now announcing the 49ers pick one.
Oh, yeah, I announced that 20 minutes ago. Sorry.
Yeah. We may be announcing these picks a little bit too early.
Yeah, we probably
especially when we had a situation where we were doubting if our pick was correct or not. Because a fan decided to tell us it was wrong.
I wasn't doubting it.
Mike, give us, when you get the pick, you give yourself a 4-minute count before you give it to us. And then we'll give ourselves a 3-minute count before we give it to the stream. Because even in the delay, bro, we got to be at least 11 minutes ahead. All right.
Dallas Cowboys. I don't know what's wrong with them, man. They've got the quarterback. They used to have the offensive line. I'm not sure they have it anymore. They had the wide receiver. They had the threat. They've got a good tight end. They had really good pieces on defense, but they just can't get out of their own way. And Dak getting hurt and then I don't know what the Cowboys need right here.
I couldn't be less excited about the Cowboys. Even
what's
with
interesting,
the new head coach. I feel like they backed into that hire.
What's interesting is the 49ers, a team we generally think knows what they're doing, they made their pick within the first minute. The Cowboys have 45 seconds left on the clock at this point.
Ooh, the pick is in. They got it in.
And they just got it in under the wire.
Yeah.
Man, Jerry Jones waits till the last minute to do everything.
He does. That is
he waits to the last minute to do everything.
Yeah. I think he knows what he wants to do, but I think the majority of the time is spent everybody trying to convince him otherwise.
And him saying no?
For him to ultimately land on what he already said he was going to do. All right, we have the pick.
The pick is in. We're going to hold it.
We're going to hold it.
I don't want to.
I'm calling this play.
How about this? You want to play a quick game of anonymous sources? And you can read us what anonymous sources have said of their pick that we haven't announced yet?
Does it have to be a player we haven't announced?
No. Have it be this pick, and then the fans can guess who it is that the pick is.
I'm not going to lie. I do not have an anonymous source for this player.
Okay.
This player was not on the list of guys to do an anonymous source.
Do you have an anonymous source for Michael Williams?
Of course I do.
Give us the anonymous source for Michael Williams.
Yeah, but that ruins the game because you know who it is.
I thought it was we were picking the team.
No. The anonymous. So that was how we played during the year.
Do you want me to give you? If you want, I can give you. Yes, go Paco. If you want, I can give you here a way that his play style was described, and then a quote of himself on his play style.
Do it.
So this player that was picked by the Cowboys, play style has been described as...
It's hot. I got to come out the chain jacket for at least a second.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously hot.
All right, the pick is in.
The Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama.
All right.
Tyler Booker, guard from Alabama.
His play has been described as legal assault, and he said, quote, I make guys not love football anymore.
So what player is this about?
This is about him.
Tyler Booker said
Yeah.
about himself.
This is from Ian.
No, this is from,
Oh, it's the Beast.
This is from the Beast, yeah.
Okay.
He makes players
Ian's
not love
nickname
football.
also the Beast?
No, Ian's
what would
a
he be?
finance guy. I don't know.
What would his nickname be?
I've never met him.
Okay.
I don't know. He seems kind of odd, if I'm going to be honest with you. On his spare time, he ranks offensive linemen.
Booker might be our most excited draft pick of the night.
Yeah. Who is he going to pick?
You talk about a guy that's happy to be in the NFL.
Is he going to pick up Goodell when he hugs him?
I'll tell
it's the bear hug for sure.
We're headed towards a bear hug and lift.
My man, those
There's
aren't
going to be
cleats.
elevation off the ground, I think, here on Roger Goodell.
Okay. O-lineman with swag. You always got to be careful of the O-linemen who have receiver swag, because they can go either way. They're either going to be the best offensive linemen, or they're going to be terrible.
Or they're still the ones that are upset they don't get to touch the ball.
All right, well.
Put your phone in a drink there?
I did. Luckily.
A Smirnoff, presented by Smirnoff's World's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. Was that a home game punch, a Smirnoff Mule, or a Pina Picante?
That's crazy.
I do like.
I missed the hug. Did he lift him?
It's a lot going on right here, man.
Man, why are you putting your phone?
I will say it's all my fault.
Yeah.
Start to finish, that play. Because not only did I spill the drink as I took my jacket off, made us miss whether or not he bear hugged Goodell.
Yeah.
I also made the call to not tip the pick too early.
Yeah.
And then you waited too long.
I waited too long.
Yeah.
So that's why not everybody can be.
You're having a pretty terrible 10 minutes here. I gotta be honest with you.
I got my chance as the interim play caller, and it was bad. Me and the guy who said that Warren was getting drafted over Loveland, we're having a similar grade right
You're
now.
Andy Dalton. We're going to hand it back. We're going to hand it back. We're going to hand it back to our starting quarterback. And hopefully,
one thing we will never do in my presence is slander Andy Dalton.
Never.
Okay.
Never.
Okay.
But you were the guy
my
that
kids go
stepped
to
in
the
for a
finest
few
school in
weeks.
South Florida, thanks to Andy Dalton.
Right.
So we will not.
I don't.
All right.
And I wouldn't.
Good. I'm just kidding, by the way.
If you
Andy's
want,
my man. I don't care. You can slander him all you want.
If you If you want Ian's thoughts on Tyler Booker, he said it's almost impossible to label him as an underrated when you're a top 2 years or you're a 2-year starter and a team captain at Alabama. However, Booker is just that. Not only will he bulldoze guys off the line, he will insert his dominance at the second level as well. No doubt in my mind, Booker, who is an above-average run-blocking skill and raw physical strength, is the top interior offensive lineman of the class and will be a Pro Bowl and maybe even all-pro guard down the road. Overall grade, B+ from Ian.
Okay.
The finance
so he's
guy.
the best, and it's only a B+. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting, Ian.
You got to work hard to get your grades from Ian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've had guys all over the board with Ian. We've had C's, we've had A's, we've had A-. He's definitely drippy. And he's got a lot of pins on the suit jacket.
Yeah, he had a couple turtles on there, I saw.
Yeah. His dad looks like Shaq.
Okay.
But he's happy.
I always love when the dad looks like he can suit up too.
Yeah, no,
like you get them both.
Absolutely. Just in case. You get a backup guard as well.
So, Billy, Dolphins are on the clock.
Yeah, I don't
We all
care
know
what
how diehard you are.
Yeah, you know me. Big Dolph fan over here.
Are you a Dolphins fan?
I mean, yeah.
Where are we at with the Dolphins?
That's not looking good.
Why?
President of the Tua fan
What
club
is the grade right now on Mike McDaniel?
The Mike McDaniel grade at the moment is incomplete, but
Okay.
he's on the hot seat.
Is he?
Yeah, he's on the hot seat. Chris Greer, it's better to be on the hot seat too early than too late. You know what I mean? If we put him on the hot seat a season too late, that means things have really gone off the handles here. Mike McDaniel, cute, quirky guy for 2 seasons. However, we need to start seeing results to this quirkiness. He's this genius, offensive innovation.
Mm-hmm.
No one can do things like he can, except they figure out his offensive schematics and all of that very quickly, and it hasn't been as cute as it was the first year around. So we need to start seeing.
They were in the playoffs last year, right?
No, they missed by a game. They missed by a game because guess who they lost to?
Who?
The 3-win Tennessee Titans, who only number 1 pick.
That happened.
Well,
I think Dolphins fans right now are most upset with Chris Greer, the general manager, still being the general manager, because you kind of thought there needs to be a change. We don't want to get rid of Mike McDaniel yet. Our guy is probably Chris Greer because he's been here for a while, and it's just been a lot. I think they're the longest team without winning a playoff game. It's been like 20 years since they've won a playoff game. They've made it to the playoffs, but they haven't won a game.
Do you want me to get in there?
I'll tell you this, too.
Can I ignore that question?
My guy, Big Mac, that he runs the parking garage at the Elser, wears a top hat. I don't know if you've ever seen Big Mac downstairs.
I've seen Big Mac.
Big Mac every day tells me, big draft coming up. So finally, me and Big Mac are going to have some closure. He asks me every day, what do you think Chris Greer's going to do? I'm like, I don't know, Big Mac, but Big Mac doesn't want Chris Greer there either. So
What's your confidence level?
We'll see. My confidence level with the Dolphins, here's another thing.
No, in this pick.
Not high, because it's Chris Greer making the pick. Here's another thing. Here's an issue in Hawk. I'm wondering what you think. And this is a hot take. I think it's time to move on from Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's another one that you need to get rid of him too early as opposed to too late. They probably, if they would have gotten legitimate offers on him last year, gotten rid of him then, because you could have gotten more for him.
You know what this feels like?
What?
You know when you're in a relationship and the girl tells you, like, hey, I don't like the look of your face. And when I'm around you, it makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
And then you go, you know what?
I've heard that all too often, Hawk.
I think we should see other people. Yeah, no shit. Didn't Tyreek Hill already say he didn't want to be there?
Like 3 times.
Yeah,
and then the next day he's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, this wasn't even taken out of context. It's you on video saying this.
Which is very relationship-like. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you saying that it's time to move with Tyreek Hill isn't as bold. I get what you were saying now.
Yeah.
We don't really have a good grasp on what bold is.
Yeah.
Because that's not a hot take.
Listen, man. I'm scarred. I'm hurt, okay?
I get it. That's relationships, bro. That is relationships. All right. So, we can go now.
Oh, you want me to say it?
Go.
All right. The Dolphins pick is in. Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle, Michigan. The second Michigan defensive tackle taken so far in this. Billy, what do you think?
I don't know. I like a sexy pick. I don't know if this is the sexy pick.
This is not a sexy pick.
No, it's not.
But this is a good pick.
He weighed close to 300 pounds in middle school.
So
Big
who didn't?
boy.
Yeah.
Who didn't?
He I believe, is another one who often had to show, he often had to show his birth certificate because they weren't sure about his age. And there were questions as to whether or not he would make the 250-pound weight limit when he was playing youth football.
Do we know that, though, like, I would say 85% of NFL players who play on the offensive or defensive line all had their birth certificates checked in youth football? We don't got to say that. Not for you. I'm talking to the beast.
Yeah. And sometimes guys who do, watch-along shows had to bring their birth certificate when they played because people questioned them as well because they might have been a little big and a little big boned for their age.
And that's a part of the process. My little brother played football at Pitt. He was 6'3", 325 pounds.
Woo!
And he's been taller than me since I was 4. And he's 2 years younger than me.
Wow.
So I've lived all this stuff.
Yeah.
He was a big birth certificate check guy. Yeah. It was a part of the process at an early age.
Just had it in the wallet.
You just keep it on you, bro. You're like, here, I already know what you're thinking. Check it out. Mike McDaniels is happy about the pick. They don't have Chris Greer on the screen. I would imagine he's happy about the pick. Do you think that they picked the right Graham from Michigan? Because there's 2 defensive tackles. Oh, this is Grant, not Graham. Apologies.
Mason Graham already went.
Yeah, Mason Graham went. Kenneth Grant now goes.
I do like a lineman that weighs close to 350 pounds. I'm not gonna lie. They have on here. You got to keep track of him because in the offseason his weight will go up from 330 to close to 350. Lineman, get it up to 400. I mean, maybe not 400.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Well, shape, number one, your ability to be able to sustain and play a whole game. And there's also a bunch of
holes.
Injury concerns that come with that. The speed in which you move
He'll be
from
fine.
at 350 to 400 is completely different. And most importantly, him going from 330 to 400 would cost him, I mean, anywhere in the range of $300,000 to $500,000 in fines. Because he's the kind of guy that for every pound that you show up over the limit, we're fining the hell out of you.
Hey guys, it's Lucy, and I'm about to tell you about the most incredible, unforgettable gift you can get mom this Mother's Day. Have you ever heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site that I order from all the time, where you can get the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants all across the U.S., and they will ship it anywhere across the country for free in time for Mother's Day. Goldbelly will ship gift-worthy cakes from Ina Garten and Martha Stewart, Magnolia Bakery's famous banana pudding, New York bagel brunch directly from the city, or even authentic Chicago deep dish pizza. So whether your mom would love something sweet from one of the country's best bakeries or meals from world-famous chefs, Goldbelly has you covered. It's a super simple process, and the packaging is so cute that I used it for my scrapbook. So, if you are looking to make Mother's Day perfect or want to impress your friends and family with an epic meal next time you host, go to goldbelly.com and get free shipping and 20% off your first order with promo code GBF. That's goldbelly.com, code GBF for free shipping and 20% off your first order.
The Colts pick is in. I'm not even going to wait for Fuentes to tell me. It's going to be Tyler Warren. This was one of those match made in heaven. They've been hoping he'd fall to them, and because of Colston Loveland going to the Bears, he did. He fell to them, and I think this is one of those. We're going to find out about Anthony Richardson soon.
Yeah. I don't know if this tells me about Anthony Richardson.
No, but we're going to take away as many of the excuses as we can.
Yeah.
That's what they're going for.
He's in a tough spot. Meaning, like, I don't know how many more excuses he would even have. They didn't draft anybody.
Why'd they give up on him so quickly? I mean, he had the injuries, but it seems like they've decided he's not their guy while also not replacing him.
I think
Daniel Jones went there.
He's so fresh, and also it's something you never typically see from a quarterback drafted where he was at, but also you've never seen a quarterback tap his head in the middle of a game and say, hey, I need a breather. You know? So when
would you have been upset?
I wouldn't have been upset as much as I would have been like, hey, come here, bro.
You can't do that.
You don't, like, that's not a thing, ever. You know, and that's where I don't know, in some ways empathize with him. I think a lot of the people in the locker room did too, because they're just like, he clearly is so inexperienced that he has no idea what the hell he like. Yep. He went to the podium so happy to tell everyone he was tired. I'm like, that took all the, you know.
Everybody thought that did he think he was going to get an attaboy? Way to work hard. And they're like, no.
I told me it wasn't malicious. Like, oh, you really have no idea that you weren't supposed to do that.
That's just you plead ignorance there. Like, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do that.
Even lie. Just lie. That's my coaching point. If you're the Indianapolis Colts and Loveland goes first, which again, everyone sees everyone different, does that scare you when you're like, oh, I didn't expect to get this guy and he's here now?
What do they know? What am I missing here?
Are you a what do they know kind of guy?
Yeah, of course. What do they know that I'm missing here?
Are you a what am I missing here kind of guy?
100%.
Always. I'm like, whoa, why is he still here? If I'm told how good he is, why is he still here?
If I was told there's no way he makes it to me, do you get cold feet?
Exactly. I think it was just a scheme fit with Colston Loveland versus Tyler Warren. I think Cole Kmet already does what Tyler Warren does, maybe not to the same extent
but they're
or
in
ability.
The same family.
But they're in the same family. They're both really good inline tight ends.
Yeah.
Whereas Colston Loveland's more of a, as you said, Travis Kelce, gonna find space kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think this is. I think he's the best pass catcher available or offensive weapon available.
Yep.
I would say for the Colts at this point, which is and mind you, they still have Jonathan Taylor. They still need to be able to run the ball, and Tyler Warren's going to help them there too.
Yeah, I think for his ceiling, he's Tony Gonzalez.
Ooh.
And his floor is
say Rob Gronkowski. Say Rob Gronkowski.
No, I won't give him Rob. I'll give him Jason Witten.
Anthony Gonzalez for sure is what Goodell said when he got drafted.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, not to be confused with the slot receiver at Ohio State, who also played for the Colts and ended his career early because of concussions, but then became, I believe, a senator.
I was going to say he became a politician. I don't remember exactly what level.
Crazy turn there.
Now Jay Feely's running in Arizona.
What pick would you have to be, or like where would you have to be projected to decide to stay home versus being there in person?
At this stage, I feel like they bring too many guys.
Yeah.
I probably would have been a home guy no matter what. Joe Thomas went fishing before it was cool. I've always respected him for that.
Yeah. I like the video of the players getting the phone call as opposed to the ones in the green room.
Yeah.
I always like when, they put the phone down and they say it and then the whole family erupts. Like nobody's dressed to the nines, so like you don't mind jumping up and down a little bit. Yeah, I like when they're home on the couch.
Would you be like big family and friends gathering with us 800 people in the house, or would you be like, oh, it's just
I'm
four of us?
I'm hoping in my video you don't. I don't recognize like my wedding. I don't recognize half the people in that room.
That's crazy.
You don't know half the people that were at your wedding? How long ago did you get married?
I don't. You think I knew my wife's coworkers?
I didn't have you having CTE on my list.
My wife's third cousins? No, I didn't know those people.
That's valid. So. They asked me for draft day stories coming into the show, and I was like, oh, I have none because I didn't get drafted. And that might have been just a little bit of trauma. That's a story in and of itself. But also my brother was drafted 43rd overall.
Ooh.
And I was in the room, and we had cameras, like local news back then, 1998. But, I mean, there was not a more euphoric moment probably I could remember in my life than watching my brother get drafted.
Yeah.
We all felt like we got to the league, and it was like such a big deal. So to your point, I think I would rather see the players in their own environment because I want to judge them a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to see the girlfriends too excited. I want to see the dynamic between the mom and the aunts and how everyone thinks they're rich all of a sudden.
I want to see the offensive or defensive lineman on a couch that is just holding on for dear life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want to see. I want to see the couch just bowed in.
Yes. I want to see the agent who is so out of place in the environment that he's in.
The only one in the suit.
Yeah, like this is the first time he's ever been to this small town.
And then
Alabama.
if you look close, and you gotta catch the right guy on the right video. But if you look close, when a parent is upset with who drafted you, like, oh no, I did not want you to go there. I do not want to move to place X. I can't because I'll get everybody upset from there.
Sometimes that gets confusing because it also could be like draft day drama upset. Like, I'm pissed. Your uncle is here, and we haven't heard from this mother in 10 years. Or all of a sudden your dad is
He's looking up the rookie wage scale for your draft slot.
Exactly.
Circle of trust here. Circle of trust. Question.
Nobody can hear us.
You guys, when they go to the family and you see it, do you ever see the partner, whatever? We all play the game, will they make it, right?
Sure.
Every single one of us, like, will this couple make it? And if so, how many seasons are we going to make it?
Yeah,
if we think we're going to make it.
I can remember some good ones, man. Yeah. Russell Wilson was one that
That's
I felt
the most
like
famous one, right?
Everyone was like, oh, this isn't going to last. This isn't.
Yeah. And they were right. Yeah. And then you got you got CeeDee Lamb grabbing phones.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
I don't think they made it.
Nope, I don't think they made it. No.
What do you think the hit rate is on making it? It has to be very low, right?
Nowadays, it's probably even lower.
Yeah.
With NIL, because they're already coming in with they're coming in millionaires already, bro.
Yeah. When did love die?
Game. With NIL.
Yeah.
I think NIL killed love.
Killed love? Okay.
Yeah.
Falcons are in the last minute. I guess they're not taking a quarterback this year, but they're in the last minute before they have to make a pick.
We're looking at Shador for some reason.
Draft day dress code? There's no way they didn't tell everyone to wear black, right? Everybody in there had black on.
You think that they set up a dress code, or is just coincidence?
That had to be a dress code, man.
I kind of like it.
It had to be a dress code. I liked it as well, but I wonder what the message is. Like, why tell everyone in your draft party to wear all black? Unless you expected to be drafted by the Raiders.
Atlanta Falcons, wide receiver, edge rusher, linebacker. Some team needs there. Pick is in.
Can we get some AI mock drafts for who the Falcons select?
AI. Well, Grok said that they would take Abdul Carter, but I don't think that that's going to happen.
Okay, Grok.
Yeah. Mike Green, according to ChatGPT.
Okay.
Jalen Walker and
Mike Green's interesting.
Donovan
Mike Green's
Jackson.
A guy that was he so good because of where he played, or was he just that good?
Mike Green also, who Field Yates had in his mock draft as well.
McShay has them taking James Pierce. Mike Green seems to be a popular one. A lot of people have Mike Green.
All right.
But what they didn't count on when they had him taking Mike Green is most of them had Jalen Walker going earlier, but he was still on the board here, and I think the Falcons, they go and they take Jalen Walker right now. That's a slide. That wasn't a prediction. That's what's happening. In case that didn't come across as clear.
Bold prediction.
Yeah.
Meta AI nailed that one. They had him being taken there. So fans who are here in attendance, I have an exciting moment for you. This is again presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. We're going to give away this Cam Ward jersey for those of you who have been patient and are still here.
Everybody's got their tickets. Hawk's gonna pick.
Yeah, take your tickets out.
Hawk's gonna pick the lucky
Ward Warren Moon jersey here.
And with the Cam Ward pick.
Oh, am I reading this?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just passing it off.
I hold, he picks, you read.
If you're watching on YouTube, we're going to have the giveaway a different way, so just pay attention to the YouTube comment section. If you're here and you have your tickets on, you want this Cam Ward jersey, the winning ticket is 6167306.
Read it one more time.
It's 616.
We got it.
306. Hey.
I love that Fuentes is checking.
Come here, Fuentes. Bring that over here.
I don't trust you. All he's done is give us the perfect picks.
I don't like that you're saying that he's a liar because he is not. Hey, congratulations, you won the Cam Ward jersey.
Limited edition.
Well, that was anti.
Limited edition. There's only 3 of those.
Yeah.
And
well,
actually, I looked.
There's only 2 in white.
I was gonna say, I looked. There, it wasn't a white jersey when they gave it to Cam Ward. So there's only 2 of those in existence. Enjoy that. That's a collector's item.
Hopefully you're an XL because when we were having the meeting about how we were going to do this, we were going to buy a small and a 5XL.
I thought that was the way to go.
Because that would have been amazing.
That would have.
And you don't get to choose which one you get.
Yeah, we went the safer route.
Either it's mounted. I mean, both scenarios, there's a real chance you never get to wear it.
Yeah.
Right? All right, Jalen Walker, do we have a scouting report on him?
All right, let's see here.
I have his game film pulled up. He's only had 4 sacks last season. Is that right? Is that the Georgia effect? Also, for front offices picking Georgia players, do you think they look at it as a positive that you didn't have to play as much because it's less wear and tear on your body?
That's interesting. I'd be worried about, did you succeed because of all the talent around you, or did you succeed because you were that talented?
Right.
And
that's valid.
I guess that's why you hire the best scouts. That's why you trust your scouts, because they're supposed to see what fans don't. Fans see 4 sacks and they say, he's not that good, he only got 4 sacks. But scouts see different things.
Yeah.
And that's why you and I watch as much film as we do.
That's why we got to crunch the tape. That's why we do it. Look at this play real quick. As he reads the scouting report, I want you to watch Walker off the edge here.
Yeah, so for those of you following along. Hawkins,
you were supposed to be reading it.
You were reading.
Well, no, I was just going to give you his sacks. So he had 6.5 sacks last year, 5 the year before, 1 the year before that.
He called the audible and you didn't get it.
Well, he said before you
called run and you were blocking pass.
Come on, man.
Team player.
By the way, was that against Kelvin Banks? That
was against Kelvin Banks. So
there you go.
Anyway, we're showing a sack where he sidesteps Kelvin Banks. He beats the guard to get a sack. Very athletic player.
No wonder Ian had him ranked so low.
Special play. Ian had such a great scouting report on him that Billy has not read yet. But I'm sure he will get to it.
No, it's fine. We don't need to get to it. We're on to the next draft pick. Yeah.
All right.
Cardinals are on the clock. By the way, presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. If you're here, try the home game punch Smirnoff Your, the Pina Picante.
The Cardinals are the first in this little area of the draft where I go, are they good? Like, are the Cardinals good? Because I've seen them do things where you go, like, if they can do that,
right,
they can't be stopped. And then I see them go and do things where I'm like, you're not good.
Is that a byproduct of Kyler Murray, though? Is that not also the same conversation you say about... Because I'm a big Kyler Murray fan. I think what people want to see from him is the consistency to say, like, you see his ceiling. It's like, how can we raise your floor? How can we raise, on a week-to-week basis, we'll never get this version of Kyler Murray?
Can I ask a tangent question off that?
Absolutely.
Is Cam Ward tall Kyler Murray?
No, he's not called Kyler Murray. No.
Is he taller Kyler Murray?
No, he's not.
I mean, everybody likes to do the Patrick Mahomes comparison. I see more Kyler Murray.
No way.
A lot of no, yes.
Hold on a second. I will tell you this. In consulting the Beast says with his talent and intangibles, he projects as an NFL starter in the mold of a taller, slower version of Kyler Murray.
Boom. Me and the Beast. Cardinals pick is in.
Man. I disagree with the Beast.
Okay, Beast, disagreement. Sorry.
That's our first beef.
Sorry, Beast.
Yeah, beef.
That and the whole show your birth certificate tagline they keep giving to every offensive lineman over 6'4".
Let's check the AI here and see what the AI has.
Let's see what the AI says.
So the AI, Microsoft Copilot has Walter Nolan.
Should we be on trade watch at this point? Because the Pittsburgh Steelers are in a prime position to take Shedeur Sanders. They're in a prime position. But if somebody else wants him, they got to start thinking about moving up.
They got to get there now.
Oh, someone sucks, apparently.
Somebody's yelling no, Shedeur.
Everyone's yelling.
Steelers?
Okay, we got some Steeler fans over there.
Steelers fans do not want Shedeur Sanders.
They're holding out for Aaron Rodgers.
You guys want Aaron Rodgers? Okay.
Oh. What do you want?
What do?
We want Duck Hodges back.
Duck Hodges? Okay, no, we're good.
I heard, and I think it was Todd McShay. So you can't say I got on this one. That if Mason Rudolph were in this draft, he'd rank as the third best quarterback.
Like today,
present day Mason Rudolph.
Like if you were,
because that's not fair, right? He's in the NFL. We let him play.
Like if you were like their grades
coming out, or
Hawk, we played a game.
Walter Nolan, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss, going to the Cardinals.
Okay,
a good guy for our boy Rollis.
Yeah.
We played a game a couple weeks ago, which was if you could grant any NFL player within their first 3 years one additional year of like COVID year eligibility, they can go back to college to play one more season. But it has to be in their first 3 years in the NFL. Who would go back and improve their draft stock the most and make more money because they had another shot at being drafted in the first round?
That's a really tough game with a lot of...
You have plenty of time. We have 7 minutes before the show ends. Take your time on that one.
In their first 3 years.
Let it marinate a little bit.
But they can go back to college.
Listen, how about this? If you think of someone 4 years in, it's fine.
We'll let it happen.
We'll bend the rules a little bit.
They'd have to improve their draft stock. So send in a guy like...
George Pickens. No, you guys didn't like that pick.
That's fine.
I didn't. What were you guys' picks? Tell me that.
Who was it that I picked? I picked a defender on the Bengals, I think.
Puka Nacua.
You don't even remember his name, and you're telling me my pick's not fun? That's crazy.
Puka Nacua.
Puka?
Puka. Puka was what, a 5th round pick? He goes back to college now.
Brock Purdy?
Brock Purdy. Yeah, Brock Purdy was mentioned.
That's a good one, right?
That's an easy one.
That's
an easy one.
Now my money's not good here.
No.
My
you disagree with the beast, you got to get the repercussions.
All right. First 3-year player who goes back and improves their draft stock.
So I picked Trey Hendrickson, who was drafted, I think, in 2017.
Yeah,
so he was way out of this game.
Trey, me and Trey went to college together.
Apparently, I forgot the rules of the game.
Trey dated my mom when I was in middle school.
Oh, wow.
What the hell do you mean the last 3 years, bro? That's crazy.
Did things end well? Things end well?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
He plays for the Bengals. Did something
He was
right.
in the Gonna Make It video, shot.
Yeah. Okay, so the Bengals are on the clock now, which is my second team.
Are they going to finally take a defensive player that, like, are they going to improve their defense at all? Or are they just going to say, screw it, let's just put up 50
wide
and
out.
see?
Go wide out.
Why not?
Let's just... Joe Burrow's running the org now. Let's just get another wide out. Get him a slot.
Get him an offensive lineman.
Yeah, he could use one of those. All right, do we need a tackle?
I mean... Hey, congrats to Kevin G on the stream for winning the other Cam Ward jersey. You have one of 2 in existence.
Yeah, you got
congrats, Kevin G.
You got the 5XL Kevin G. Again, by the way, thank you to Smirnoff. We're presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. If you're here and you want to take pictures with us for whatever reason, we're going to be doing that shortly after we go off air. We're still going to be here hanging out for the draft. We're going to be off the air in a couple minutes here at 10. Yeah. But
I'm kind of hoping Shador goes to the Steelers. I kind of want to see what happens over there.
Over at that table?
Yeah, I kind of want to see what happens.
They want Duck Hodges, bro. I mean... So here's what you're going to see from Shador. He's going to be the first quarterback to slide to not give a damn. Every time they go back to that video...
He didn't seem bothered.
You're not going to get the Lamar. You're not going to get the Aaron Rodgers, the Geno Smith. You're not going to get any of that. He's going to be... It's going to look like the draft has not started yet.
I mean...
I have a feeling wherever he goes, that's where he wanted to go.
Absolutely.
That's really where I wanted to be anyways.
The Bengals finally do go defense. They take Shamar Stewart.
I knew it would be edge.
An edge rusher. I mean, is he going to play instead of Hendrickson or alongside him is the question now, because the way some of the Bengals brass was talking, seems like he's already on the way out, but he's still technically on the team.
Having negotiated against the Bengals ownership and Brown family, who I'm a fan of, but yeah, they are the leverage type, meaning like, yeah, we're not going to get caught with our pants down. We're going to go get an edge, and it's up to you. We've drawn our line in the sand, and we're going to go get someone just in case you don't come back. And they're going to stick to that.
I'm just looking at the rest of the draft here. If the Steelers decide Shedeur is not our guy, who else is going to take it in this first round?
I think somebody jumps up to the end of the first.
I mean, yeah, there could be a trade where Cleveland comes in and they take him.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have to. I mean,
I don't know if Cleveland's high on him,
if the Giants like him, the Giants can trade back in and take him.
I think Daboll has been adamant that that's not his type of quarterback. He's much more in the Jackson Dart category.
He would rather fail with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston than to risk having to put Shedeur in and it not working out.
I would say this. A few years ago, you'd say when you draft a quarterback to be your future, it buys you a grace period. It buys you a year or two. It doesn't anymore.
No.
Owners are very quick to say, yeah, we drafted the quarterback, but you're not the coach for him, and you're not the GM for him, so we're going to go get a brand new regime. Mm-hmm. And it very rarely works out for the quarterback when that happens either.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, to your point, even with the quarterbacks, they just have so much more leverage, even a young guy, that if they come in, and, it used to be like, hey, we're evaluating this young quarterback to see what he can be. And now it's the opposite, where the head coach has to placate to the quarterback because the quarterback goes to the ownership and they say, yeah, I don't like the way he does X, Y, and Z, and I don't feel like he's using me the right way. You're going to be fired. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Oh, yeah, it's absolutely a problem.
Okay. I agree with you.
And it's only going to get worse. But, yeah, it's a problem nonetheless.
How much do you buy into this idea that Shedeur just had bad interviews and that's why he's sliding? You think it's that, or you think it's his size? You think it's his arm?
I think it's a combination, man. I think his personality does scare people. I think his father scares people. I think, in this world where people have voices, that scares people. Think about if Shedeur goes to the New York Giants and what they're doing with Brian Daboll, they don't like it, and Deion Sanders can come out and be like, "Come on, man, show me a quarterback that's ever been successful with the New York Giants and Brian Daboll." And then it's like, now they have the ability to shift the narrative as much, if not more, than what the organization and the coach has. That's scary.
And not only
everyone
that,
has the gumption to withstand that.
Deion has a press conference every week.
Every week,
Deion has multiple.
And everything
and everybody's going to ask about it.
That's it. And he's going to answer it.
And Deion is not afraid to answer it.
He's not going to say, hey, I'm letting that situation. He's going to give his opinion. That's what he's known for.
He'll start off that way. He'll start off with, hey, man, that's there. But the worse it gets, the more Deion will talk. And I get it.
One thing that we haven't gotten to yet that Mikey was hot on before was a report by Jay Glazer, and it's not Shedeur-centric, but it was saying that for the first time, I guess because of NIL, there was executives questioning
removing players from their draft board, not for injury concerns, not for character concerns, but for, quote, didn't love football, doesn't love football. I find that to be crazy.
Yeah.
That
on a show called God Bless Football, I could see where that would be nuts to you.
Well,
I could see where that would also would grind your gears a little bit.
Yeah.
On such a football-loving show.
How many players did you play with that you knew this guy doesn't love football?
Countless.
Can you tell right away?
Countless. What you got to understand is football is a job, and you might love the sport, and you love everything around it, but like any job, at some point, there are absolutely elements that you don't love. And so what I care more about is even despite how you feel, can I get the same person? Because love can be tricky. It's like motivation. It's like if you grew up poor and your motivation in football was to get to the NFL and get your mom a house or get a second contract. Well, now that motivation is gone, what kind of player are you? That's a scary thing. I actually like players who, you might not be so up and down roller coaster emotionally about the game, but I can still get the consistency of the person that I have. That even when the chips are high or low, I know what I can count on my edge or my receiver and my quarterback. So it does work both ways. Now, if you don't love football and it contributes to you not working, not spending time in it, in this social media world where you're coming into the league with money now because of NIL, and we know that in football, the person who grinds the most tape, the person who looks for the most insights, the person who looks for the edge against their opponent the most is successful. And if you don't love it enough to do those kind of things, that's where it could be like this investment isn't working.
I don't know if they love football. I love Smirnoff.
Yeah. I want all my players to love Smirnoff.
Yes, sir.
As a Cleveland Brown who played with Johnny Manziel, I could say it was.
I love Smirnoff. I love football. I love Nashville. Thank you guys for having us here tonight. The NFL draft will continue. The first round will continue, but we are done here for tonight. If you want, we can meet you over there, take pictures. Thank you all for coming out, for watching the draft with us. Thank you, everybody at home on YouTube watching along. Thank you, Smirnoff, for supporting us this entire season. And thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for running Point Billy and totally ignoring all my work on anonymous sources.
God bless football, everyone. See you tomorrow. We'll see what kind of controversy we run into the remainder of this first round of the draft. Good night.
Hello? Hi. I'd like to make a toast to the return of baseball and draft season right around the corner. Speaking of drafts, from game night to parties with friends or a special anniversary, celebrating important occasions means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. Now's a perfect time to celebrate legendary stories with friends, family, and a great tasting light beer. It's Miller time, the taste you can depend on. A great beer trusted by beer lovers for 50 years. The original light beer since 1975 and still iconic 50 years later. Here's to Miller Lite. Here. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/GBF to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Hey guys, it's Lucy, and I'm about to tell you about the most incredible, unforgettable gift you can get mom this Mother's Day. Have you ever heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site that I order from all the time, where you can get the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants all across the US, and they will ship it anywhere across the country for free in time for Mother's Day. Goldbelly will ship gift-worthy cakes from Ina Garten and Martha Stewart, Magnolia Bakery's famous banana pudding, New York bagel brunch directly from the city, or even authentic Chicago deep dish pizza. So whether your mom would love something sweet from one of the country's best bakeries or meals from world-famous chefs, Goldbelly has you covered. It's a super simple process, and the packaging is so cute that I used it for my scrapbook. So, if you are looking to make Mother's Day perfect or want to impress your friends and family with an epic meal next time you host, go to goldbelly.com and get free shipping and 20% off your first order with promo code GBF. That's goldbelly.com, code GBF for free shipping and 20% off your first order.